It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun in my morning, babe.
You're checking in on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. It's the Tuesday, March 29th, 2022 edition of the program. I am Gabe Kuhn, producing the program on the ones and twos. Go Tigers 247 writer Bryant Dacus. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well, Gabe. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. My partner is pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brett, how are you?
I'm well. Let's do it.
Let's do it. First hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. We got a whole lot to get to today. A lot. Final Four discussion. Duke, UNC, Nova, and Kansas. Kevin Sweeney will join us at 3:30. Usually would join us tomorrow, but 3:30 today is when he will join us. We'll get to Final Four. We'll talk about the Tigers as well because there is more blowback from the notice of allegations. Turn our attention to the transfer portal this time. We talked about Landers Nolly possibly leaving. We know the outgoing guys possibly to the draft, and Josh Minot and Jalen Duren. But John Camden has entered his name into the transfer portal. Of course, a four-star. He was a freshman. He redshirted this year. He has entered his name into the transfer portal. On the other side of things, Grizzlies continue to take care of business without Ja. They beat a shorthanded Warriors team 123-95. Also, the NFL head coaches meetings this week. By the way, Brett, did you see the picture? The famous picture now, Matt Rule and Sean McVay looking like a Hollywood guy. You have Cliff Kingsbury hanging out in the back with his shades on.
Did you notice who wasn't in it?
Who?
I never found Bill Belichick in it.
Really? Hold up. You are correct. I have it right in front of me. You are correct.
I think
it's not in there.
I think I counted 28 head coaches, so that means 4 is not in the photo.
Hey, listen, by the way, Matt Rule needs better fitting clothing. I'm a big fan of Matt Rule. From his college times, he hadn't done so well with the Panthers, but
the job he did at Temple and Baylor, I mean, it's
impressive.
Up there with the best in the recent memory.
Yeah, but he needs better fitting pants, to say the least.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. He needs some big
that
elastic draws.
You got that $1 million contract, man. You can go get a stylist. You can figure that out for yourself, you would think. But
yeah, he can get custom made stuff.
Head coaches meetings this week. There's a bunch to discuss on that. A lot of coaches have talked to the press, but also the overtime rules. Basically,
I don't know if I saw Mike McCarthy in the picture. Who are the 4 not in it? We got to locate him.
We're gonna have to figure it out.
Okay, that's 2.
There we go.
BB and McCarthy.
Bryant can be our investigator on that. He can figure that one out. Also, we have to talk
about Mike Tomlin in the picture?
Yes, he's in the back.
Okay.
We have to talk about the overtime rules. These are basically in response
I love overtime outrage.
To the AFC divisional round last year with the Chiefs and Bills, where Josh Allen was not allowed to possess the ball. Now, both teams will possess the ball, but only in postseason play. We'll talk to Bo Marchand at 5 about this and more, and about what the Steelers may do at quarterback, what Mike Tomlin's going to have to do to reload that team for this year. We'll talk about that more. Also at 4 o'clock, we bring on Brent Beard, talk some college football, and we get out at 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone listen line, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. That's at Sports56WHBQ. And go to our website, Sports56WHBQ.com. Before I get into anything, I'm a little late to this. Obviously, it was announced, I believe, 2 nights ago. Jarvis Greer is going to be stepping away at the end of the year at Action News 5. 43 years at Action News 5. And being a Tiger football alum, I have to mention this because Jarvis was always a very supportive voice within the program. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger, always spoke to the team. It was just always so nice to me and has always been so nice to me.
Nice
just one of the best guys. And you say that about a lot of guys. You do.
He is.
But he really does encapsulate that, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And we're going to be sad to see him go, but he's earned it after all he's done for this city.
He has a fabulous career from working with Jack Eaton at 1960 Union at Action News 5. Harold Grader was part of that sports department for a long time. And Jarvis just really, with his personal, kind style, he made it. He made it by any definition of making it, and loves the Tigers. I assume will this fall will still be a part of Tiger football broadcast. I hope even when he steps away from having to leave 1960 Union every night at 10:35 or 10:40 or so, I know after 43 years he's looking forward to not having to do that. I hope he remains a part of Tiger football broadcast with Dave, and Russell Copeland's been a big addition to that, and Greg Gaston on the sidelines, and the whole crew pre and post, Matt and Jeff, everybody, Tyler, all of them do such a great job bringing the Tigers to the listeners of this area, whatever station, wherever they are. People know, we find them, and because we want to listen to them. And you're right, that the positivity, even in some down years, Jarvis was very positive, and then he got to experience. And I thought of that day, a lot of people that day when the Tigers ran on that field at Jerry's World, at AT&T Stadium, home of the Cowboys, in the Cotton Bowl against Penn State. That was the culmination of a lot of hard work and sweat equity for a lot of people. You included, Gabe.
Yep, we got him for 9 more months, but he is always, to me, he always knew, going through my career, he knew I wanted to get into broadcast and was always so damn supportive of everything, and just so helpful with
always,
me getting
with
into
kind,
it.
Supportive words.
Literally, I can't stress that enough. But he has been doing this for a long time. 9 more months though. He can't
New
get rid of
Year's
us.
Eve will be good night. So long for him. That will be an emotional night on that set at Channel 5.
Mm-hmm. It will. But shout out
tears
Jarvo.
will flow.
Shout
Happy
out
tears.
Jarvo. Now, Tigers. A team that Jarvis knows very closely and has covered very closely. Notice of allegations. We know about the 4 level 1 allegations, 2 level 2, and another one that is yet to be named. But because of that, John Camden today has entered himself into the transfer portal. And I don't mean to be doom and gloom guy. I don't mean to be negative. It's hard to not be relatively negative and doom and gloom in this time because of the notice of allegation, how heavy it was. But this is the first of many, it feels like.
You're right, Gabe, and we're gonna have to bring the news to you, good and bad, and it's gonna be some bad. We said yesterday, this is the start of some long, tough days for the Tigers. Sure, not going to kick anybody when they're down. We're not going to do that.
Of course not.
But we're going to have to tell it like it is, and it'll be hard to miss John Camden when we really never had him.
Right.
I don't know how difficult it will be to miss him now if he goes off somewhere and he really flourishes and has a nice career. It'll be a lot of what ifs and maybes, but when we get more into the meat of the roster that's proven itself, when we get into the official word on Landers Nolly that we all suspect he's gone. We get into Lester Quinones and others. And, of course, there's going to be players coming in, and there will be some positive news there, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I think with what you're looking at in the recruiting market right now, though, it's interesting because Penny Hardaway has none in this class this year, and it looks like the transfer portal is going to have to be his right-hand man this offseason if he wants to get some recruiting done.
And it's not just at Memphis. It's fully jacked at Ole Miss. There's already a lot of guys out at Ole Miss. They've got some high schoolers coming in, and they think they've got some portal players coming in. But it's at a lot of places that we're going to have a lot of roster turnover.
There was a lot of what-ifs about John Camden this year. A lot of people wanted him to get some time. And I can see why.
Almost a John Conchar type groundswell, wasn't it?
Exactly. Sort of the knockdown three-point shooter. So we'll see what he can do elsewhere. But I agree. It's hard. It's hard to miss him. But this is just the blowback from what you're going to see from this notice of allegations. And I want to pose this question off the top, and we'll discuss it. But 901-360-8255. Want to know what you guys have to say about this. And we've talked about the possibility of Penny Hardaway stepping away because of the notice of allegations and how heavy it is. But I want to ask a hypothetical here. If Penny does indeed step away and does not coach again for the Tigers, where is your vitriol aimed? Like, where is your anger aimed at? Is it the NCAA or is it Penny? 901-360-8255. Let me know. Brett, what do you think about it?
Is it just either or can it be nuanced?
It can be nuanced.
Well, of course, the easy one's the NCAA. And that's easy for all of us around sports. All of us in this area. The contempt I have for them is is just unbridled. I have to really watch myself because I'm scared that it's a little bit like questioning and criticizing the IRS. You say too much and. Are you Brett Norsworthy? You're scared to death of them, like we are. Now, I will say this, much like the animus and vitriol directed at the IRS, every single IRS code is passed by our government, by our House of Representatives, then to the Senate, and then signed by our president. It's not just some independent group. Every single thing the NCAA has in that Dead Sea Scrolls of the rule book, it's passed by its membership, of which the University of Memphis, Ole Miss, Arkansas, we know who all they are. They're all members of it. Now, one thing that the air quotes here big boys have always really rejected and resisted is Center College has the same vote as Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And people have rejected and wish that could change through the years because we know it's a different set of parameters at both of those places.
Now, here's the thing. The reason I asked this question, I think everyone is going to have anger toward the NCAA. It's hard not to. They're the low-hanging fruit. They do everything the wrong way. They don't help the student-athlete, even though they claim that that's their statement, that's their mission statement.
They work by the hour. They're very slow.
Always, always, always be angry at the NCAA. But I look at the side of things with Penny Hardaway, and you have to understand the amount of people in his corner at the beginning. Do they feel burned by how this turned out? Do they feel burned that he didn't really quite understand the rule book? Do they feel burned by the fact that there was only one tournament appearance in these 4 years and it ended in a hefty level 1 allegation, notice of allegation? So
I have some of that to a lot of that, and also how kind of fast and loose with a lot of things that he played with. And sometimes it was the truth. And a good case in point of it was the lack of candor around vaccination rates during the middle of the biggest public health crisis in 100 years, that everybody's getting their documentation in order. And there was a time out there in September and October that he was selling 100%. Then we settled in at 90%, and then we woke up on a Saturday morning getting ready to play a game.
One of the biggest games of the season.
And it was closer to 0% than it was to 90%.
And that game would have single-handedly probably been the biggest game of the season in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville versus the Tennessee Vols. And we saw what the Tennessee
and that
Vols
was just
were
an
at the end
example of kind of fast and loose with a lot of things, and the persona of I'm Penny, I can do what I want.
That may be how it's viewed. I don't know if that's necessary. I think for him, there is a thought process of I can do more than anybody else, and that's the reason he got hired. I can recruit better. I can coach these guys better. I can bring them together better. I can teach Imani to
play point guard.
Exactly. Like he had that. He has that cockiness about him, and I want to see that. I want to see confidence. I want to see that type of thing in a coach and a player and anybody in athletics. But you have to think about before Penny Hardaway was employed at the University of Memphis, the whole thing got blown up to accommodate him. The entire thing. Tubby Smith was forced out in a lot of ways. I'm still okay with that. Although it's still weird how it ended. It was a tough end.
I just wish it had been a real coaching search.
But Brett, it was largely blow up what we have going right now. AD out, get a new AD, bring in Penny, let Penny do what he wants. And this is how it ended. So I would have to imagine that there are Memphis fans out there. There are Tiger fans out there with a fair amount of anger toward Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, I don't think that will get the resonance. I don't think that will get the attention today that it will down the road with the passage of time. And for another reason, for a lot of people, still may have to work with him, still may have to be around him. They're still a little afraid to be too unbridled in any criticism. Very similar to me at Ole Miss. I was scared to get crossways with Hugh Freeze until that Thursday night in the summer of 2017. And then once they're gone, you get a little more liberation for a little more criticism.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part, too, is for all of these things, when there is a notice of allegations, when there is a coach who forces it, the tough questions don't get asked until after the fact.
That's right. we often get the real unvarnished truth after the fact, and we will in time, and we always do. Look, let me be the first to say that Wednesday of the summer of 2017, I was not going to say anything that I ran afoul with the head football coach at Ole Miss. That Thursday night happened, and then with every passing day, I got a little more liberation and really, frankly, could talk with a lot more candor and a lot more truthfulness. And a lot of people right now are feeling that tug of war with Penny Hardaway. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's the title sponsor of this hour, and that's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673 for any service inquiry. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and you will be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-334-9673. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
I do want to pose this question again. No, we have a couple of people who have already chimed in and answered, but 901-360-8255, the AutoZone listener line, let us know what you think. Where is your vitriol aimed with the notice of allegations? At Penny Hardaway, at the NCAA, or both? It can be both, and I understand that as well. My top story of the day, though, has to do with the Grizzlies and just handling business every single night without Ja Morant. It doesn't matter. Ja's been out for 5 games. Guess what? They're 5-0. And they've done it against some good teams, too. We've had the Nets.
That first quarter cost my 3-team parlay, though, on the over last night.
Really? You had a first quarter over?
I put it out. No, I had the game over. Put it out yesterday as part of my 3-teamer during my FanDuel spot in 2016.
Yeah, but that Golden State team is not good right now. You got to get Steph Curry. You got to get.
That's not Golden State.
You got to get Draymond.
But they didn't even have Steve Kerr in the second half.
Yes, here's the other thing too. I think that team would be a lot better. I don't even think Klay Thompson certainly helps, but Draymond Green and Steph Curry being on the floor at the same time, that's a completely different Warriors team. But the Grizzlies win 123-95. Tyus Jones, another 0 turnover night. Dylan Brooks was really good from the field, 9 for 15 from the field. Desmond Bain was 5 for 6 from 3. DeAnthony
Melton, dunk of the year.
Continues to be ridiculous in that dunk over top of Kevon Looney. I mean, it's always amazing to me, too, because we've always been sort of very close to seeing DeAnthony Melton unlocked. But whenever he gets the opportunity, the extra opportunity to be an offensive playmaker, he seems to deliver. And part of that is because of this stretch of shooting he's been on. He hasn't done this in a while, but 26 for 43, 60% from 3 since Ja has been out. That's 5 games. And I heard him sort of talk about it. 1 goes through, he feels like the next million are going to go through. But the Grizzlies are just about solidly locked in to second in the Western Conference. The magic number, believe it or not, is down to 1. They win 1 more game. They're locked into number 2. And guess what? Instead of trying to fight into the play-in, instead of trying to fight for a higher seed, the Grizzlies can sit their guys down and not worry about that because they are number 2 in the Western Conference at 30 games above 500 with 6 games to go.
And remember when we were struggling with Monday night crowds last night? It was stoked in there on a Monday night. Great crowd. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of Golden State gear and jerseys on, but it was a fun Monday night at FedEx Forum last night. And post-game, Taylor Jenkins with very classy remarks, just like you started with the kind words for Action News 5, Jarvis Greer. My top story, Grizzlies win big to go 30 over 500 and all but secure the 2 seed in the West. They won the Southwest Division last night. Yay! Hang the banner up. I think we should. We should have a Southwest Division banner, shouldn't we?
People don't pay attention to divisions in the NBA. Not even a little bit.
What a showing for a team that can go arguably 1 through 11 players. They really can. And there will be a playoff star coming up in this round of playoffs over April, May, maybe even June. There will be a playoff star of a game that we don't see coming right now. There will be a Tyus Jones game. There will be a DeAnthony Melton game. There could even be a John Conchar game. There could be a Zaire game. there's going to be somebody that appears to be backbench win a game for you. And if you'll remember in 2011 on that Saturday afternoon against Oklahoma City, 2 days before the big game, the heartbreaker on Monday night, the triple overtime, that was the Sam Young game.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Andre Iguodala,
sorry, Andre.
should have had the vision, right? He should have had the vision. Like Dylan Brooks said, we'll talk about that quote later.
Not top story of the day.
It's going to be, and this could be a not top story just about every day until we figure out what the sanctions are. But it's going to be the continued blowback of the IARP investigation, the notice of allegations with the University of Memphis. It's just what it's going to be. 7 allegations, 4 of which are level 1.
Yeah, every day it won't be the top story. But it's always percolating.
It's going to be right there.
Not top story.
And when something like today happens, when a guy gets into the transfer portal, right after it reminds you of what is to come, what's going to happen. That black cloud. John Camden gets into the transfer portal. We never really knew you, John. Sorry, we didn't really get to know you. But it's just going to be some tough days and some tough months.
Bryant, do you have a John Camden jersey?
I do not. I know you could buy them, though.
Yeah,
They're
you
selling
can.
them.
Yeah, T-shirt jerseys.
Yeah, NIL.
You think anybody's rolling around in a John Camden jersey?
I hope not.
Where do you think he lands?
I don't know. Probably somewhere closer to home, honestly.
He could land in a few. I mean, he'll have some good offers there on the table, I would imagine. 4-star, three-point specialist. People need those.
Yeah.
My not top story, right there with you, Gabe. The realization. It's setting in. We had a text yesterday, I think very rueful, sincerely sad, from a texter that said, this is bumming me out.
Yeah.
And it's the sad realization of what the Tigers face. And the NCAA, they do this intentionally with this long game. This is de facto probation that you're already on because it freezes everything. It casts a pall on everything. You don't feel safe to go outside again. Metaphorically speaking. I mean, you just feel really bummed out, and they do that intentionally. They play that long game, and they drag it out, and this recruiting class, it's going to be hard to pull off anything exceptional. And with just one more year in the current configuration of the AAC, next year in the AAC, that's going to be tougher than it's been any year because the Tigers material feels like it will be lessened going into it. 2022-2023 season feels frightening. I can't imagine what a year from today could look like.
Listen, I feel like this is going to hurt some people, but it really is the truth. You're looking at 2, 3, 4 years until a program can get back on their feet from these type of allegations.
A little faster in basketball, isn't it, than football?
Well, it depends on what the sanctions will be. You're talking about 4 level 1 allegations. Certainly a postseason ban is on the table. You're looking at about 2 years, maybe 3 years. Now, I'm curious who will be around. I'm curious what the athletic department will look like, what the coaching staff will look like, but it will pass. And
but the budget will look like.
I know about our several texters texting us yesterday. It is depressing. I don't mean to depress you, but it is what it is.
Budget, scheduling, travel, how that will look. Will the Tigers be able to continue to travel like an NBA team?
Mm-hmm. We shall see. But I do continue. I want these answers. 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone listener line. Let me know. With the notice of allegations, with what has come down on the University of Memphis basketball program, where is the anger aimed? Where is the vitriol aimed? At the NCAA, at Penny Hardaway, or both? That is the question today on the AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. That'll do it for our top and our not top story of the day. Coming up next, we talk Final Four. We continue this conversation about Penny Hardaway and the notice of allegations with Kevin Sweeney from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What do bagels, axes, and some of the area's finest used cars have in common? Come find out at Auto Universe, 7300 Winchester this Friday as Sports 56 and 98.5 broadcast live beginning at 7 in the morning. We'll have free breakfast from Einstein Bagels, games from Civil Axe Throwing, and we'll be highlighting some of the great cars that can be had at Auto Universe. Join Greg and me this Friday from 7 to 10 at Auto Universe, just off 385 at 7300 Winchester. Sponsored by Einstein Bagels and Civil Axe Throwing.
NCAA Final Four Spotlight, sponsored by Geico.
Step right, three-pointer, no good off the iron. Rebound out to Moore. Spin move, his three-pointer, no good. And Colin Gillespie's got the rebound. Gillespie is going to dribble the clock away. The ball game is over. Villanova has survived and advanced.
The Wildcats punched their ticket with a tough defensive game win over Houston. Now it's on to the Big Easy for a matchup with Kansas. Hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the Final Four right here.
Do you check the possession arrow when your roommate grabs the remote the same time you do? Do you refer to the area under the shower head as in the paint? Do you lay out your kids' school outfits with a t-shirt cannon? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may be experiencing March Madness. And if you switch to Geico, you may experience saving hundreds on car, home, motorcycle insurance, and more.
Mom! I was gonna wear my new... Hey!
Geico, proud partner of March Madness.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite. While at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation day. Topgolf Swing Suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sanderlin, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at swingsuitememphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Very pleased to be joined by our good friend from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated, Kevin Sweeney at CBB_Central on Twitter. Kevin, thanks for joining us today. I know that you moved around some things to be able to accommodate.
If anything, I feel all screwed up on the time. It feels like Wednesday at 5 o'clock. I don't know what I'm doing. So
it does, Kevin. You're gonna be headed to New Orleans. You be careful 6 days in New Orleans.
Oh, it's dangerous. You know, I've been resting up for the occasion. Hopefully we've been up in the tank.
Those 151 shooters they have on the side of the side of the street on Bourbon. Don't do those. Those aren't the ones you need to be doing. Be careful.
I'll be ready to go.
Be careful.
I'll be ready to go.
All right. Now we have Final Four set, right? North Carolina, Duke, Nova, and Kansas. Now, no one's surprised Duke. Villanova, Kansas are there. North Carolina was sort of a surprise. But it is unbelievable to think after all of this, we had St. Peter's get to the Elite Eight, a 15 seed make this run. You end with 4 of the bluest of blue bloods.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy how it worked out. I think in many ways it's great for the sport, right? I think you saw the ratings numbers that the St. Peter's Purdue game was like the highest watched Sweet 16 game in 10 years. So obviously there is, mainstream appeal to the little guy, but I think, in the Final Four, when you could have matchups like these with names that everyone recognizes, with coaches, I think so much is made of, how college basketball is more often about the coaches and the players. And look, we're going to have Jay Wright, Coach K, Bill Self, and Hubert Davis, which I think is a name that a lot of people know, even if they don't know him as the head coach of Carolina. All you can really ask for. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a great Final Four, and it would have been fun to have St. Peter's in the party, but
right.
What a run it was anyway.
I think it'll be a fun Final Four as well, Kevin, and I swear I'm going to watch every second of all 3 games, but I do not care who wins. If it's the Krzyzewski story, then that's great. He will get his 6th. If it's the Jay Wright story, he gets his 3rd. If it's the Kansas story, Bill Self gets that very elusive 2nd, and we know the pain here of him having the one that he has. And then Hubert Davis to get his 1st in his first year, that would be a phenomenal story, and especially with what he would have to go through to get there. He'd have to go through Mike Krzyzewski in the semis, and then either Jay Wright or Bill Self on Monday night. So I think the storylines, while it feels a little kind of white milk, it's still got some variety to it.
Oh, certainly. I think the most interesting storyline, quite frankly, is what happens if Hubert Davis wins the national championship this year? First and foremost, it would set forever the Carolina over Duke memory. Not only beating McCameron to end NK's Duke home career, but then to end K's career overall in the Final Four would be ridiculous. To win a national championship in year 1 and join the elite company of Carolina. That to me is the story of this thing. If Hubert Davis wins it completely changes. Look, 2 months ago, I think there were people who were wondering if Hubert Davis would enter next season on the hot.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
I wasn't there, but people were going to talk about that. There was going to be conversations if this team had finished the way they started, and instead they might win a national championship, and that's a wild thing.
And the party that would be on in Chapel Hill, just 8 miles separates. Think how little that is. Gabe, that's the difference from the radio station to your house. Yeah, that's how close that those 2 iconic, great academic schools that they set in that rivalry. But the party, it would set off from Saturday night from about 10 o'clock. Kevin, they drank right through tip Monday night and keep it going. That party may not end until graduation at Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I know everyone in North Carolina will say, "Oh, we're a championship school. We nothing less than a national championship is accepted." But I tell you what, I think everyone would consider it a wildly successful season if they were to beat Duke. If they were to knock off Duke, I don't think anything else matters.
So what have you thought of Hubert Davis's run as a whole? I've gone through this, and I think about, again, you brought up 2 months ago, you're talking about him possibly being on the hot seat going into next year. Certainly vindication, but do you think he caught lightning in a bottle to be able to make this run?
I think to an extent. I think he's done a nice job of tightening the rotation and getting guys on the same page. I will say, in talking to Carolina players and listening to Hubert over the weekend when I was in Philadelphia, those guys have a tremendous amount of respect and buy-in for him. They Leaky Black was saying to us in the press room, when they got punched in the mouth in January and they got blown out a couple of times, and everyone started to say, is this team any good? Are they tough? Are they winners? Whatever. They walked into practice the next day and they expected to get reamed out, and instead Hubert came in with a positivity and an energy that I think transformed the season for them and showed that he was still behind them. And I just think that that message and that, positivity will play well with this generation of prospects, this generation of player. I think this run will help them get recruits. I think I'm a Hubert Davis believer more than I was, a month ago. I wasn't out on him a month ago, but I certainly don't think I was as in as I am.
I mean, yeah, and we'll talk about Penny Hardaway here in a second, but the group that Hubert Davis was a part of there in the middle of the season was the Patrick Ewing, Penny Hardaway, Juwan Howard, Hubert Davis group. That the former players at their alma mater that were struggling. Now, in the other Final Four game, in the Nova versus Kansas game, what do you think the chances are of Villanova being able to get past Kansas without Justin Moore?
I thought in the immediate aftermath, I was like, oh, it's over, it's done. Like, they had no chance. I've thought about it more and more, and I almost have talked myself into Villanova having a real chance. Like, I don't think Kansas is overwhelming. I think Villanova is going to be able to force teams to play that grinded out game. This is going to be a low 60s, high 50s type of game. Villanova's defense is really, really good. And Caleb Daniels can step in and start on the wing instead of coming off the bench like he has all season. It's not, again, they literally might have 5 guys I trust to play minutes in this game. But those 5 might just be enough to keep you in it. And I think, the way that they defend, the way that they rebound, the way that Eric Dixon has played down low gives me at least some confidence that Villanova can pull this off.
The Bill Self story, he doesn't need this. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's got the one, but 2 beats 1, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does. And look, I mean, this run of success that they have had in terms of the consistency, every year since 2000, they've had a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, and almost all of that's Bill Self. I mean, that is ridiculous. I don't think that will be matched again by anyone else. I mean, Coach K had a down year. Izzo's had down years. Obviously Kentucky had a 9-16 season last year. I don't think that there will be in the next, 50, 100 years, however long we're doing this, another coach who gets a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament 20 years in a row, like Bill Self was trending towards. And obviously, again, winning a second championship would be
and
a
that conference
achievement.
success.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they dominate every year. They are the standard bearer program in college basketball in terms of regular season consistency, and they make runs in the tournament. I mean, obviously, they have only won it once, but they've been in Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Fours. I mean, they're not an early exit regular, so it's been really impressive. Obviously, they had a great chance to win it all in 2020. They didn't get the opportunity to do that this year. They didn't always feel like they were an elite team, but here they are in the Final Four and have as good a chance as anybody.
We'll go ahead and get your picks at the very end of this segment, but I have to get into Penny Hardaway and the notice of allegations that they've had it. The University of Memphis has had it since July 9th of 2021. They finally released it after the season. I think that was a fine move. You want to get the season in before you have to deal with all the drama. But what's your take on the notice of allegations and what this may mean for Penny Hardaway?
Well, if it's anything like the other NCAA investigations into the college basketball program right now, we might not know about what the result is until 2025. So I guess it's not that big a deal. But I mean, it doesn't help. I think you've seen, and you can look at Kansas as an example of this. One of the reasons that Kansas roster right now does not feel overwhelmingly talented and certainly has no former elite recruits on it is because they were hampered a little bit by the FBI stuff. And does this rise to the level of that? No, but if you're recruiting against the potential postseason ban, when everyone else is going to call the kids and say, hey, you're not going to get to play in the NCAA tournament, you're not going to play in the NCAA tournament, your coach might get suspended, et cetera, it's going to hurt. So I don't think the recruiting drop-off will be quite as drastic, but especially because of NIL and the ability, I think one of the reasons the Kansas struggled to recruit was they weren't able to recruit the same ways that they've recruited in the past. But, I do think this could hurt recruiting. It could hurt the perception of the program. And it's not what you wanted to come down when, there finally felt like there was something
right. Yeah, and that story will not go away. And Kevin, we may even visit with you on Tuesday next week if your schedule would accommodate. I know you'll be getting out of New Orleans, but we'll schedule that into next week. Kevin Sweeney with us, been with us all year from College Basketball Central and Sports Illustrated. He's on his way to New Orleans for the Final Four that features North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, and Villanova. Arkansas didn't get there. They got to the Elite Eight, second year in a row. Very prominent recruiting class coming in, added 2 yesterday. You retweeted a story today about where they might start next year. I said yesterday they start minimum in the top 5. That story you retweeted today has the Razorbacks starting next year number 1.
Yes, and I'm working on my own way too early top 25 right now. I have not decided 100% whether Arkansas will be number 1, but they're going to be in the conversation after landing Anthony Black yesterday. there's a couple of things roster-wise you want to see shake out. If they can bring back Jalen Williams, who was so good for them in the NCAA tournament, so good down the stretch, he's a great passer, he rebounds, he defends. I mean, he's a complete player at the center position. And you add him to these 3 McDonald's All-Americans, including the guy who I believe will be the best freshman in the country next year, and Nick Smith. That team is going to be dangerous. And Muss is going to hit the portal. They're going to add to this group even more. So they're going to be right in the conversation.
And we know he can coach.
Oh, he does an amazing job. I said it last week. I thought that everyone was giving him no chance against Gonzaga. I picked Gonzaga, but you felt like they had a chance just because Muss is a great game planner. You saw what they did last year against Baylor and had a real chance to win. They had a great plan against Gonzaga and found a way to win it. So he does a great job, and I think that they certainly have a great chance to get to a Final Four or potentially win it all next season.
All right, UNC versus Duke, Villanova versus Kansas. Let's hear your national championship, and then who you think's going to win it all.
Man, I think I'm going to take Duke in the Duke Carolina game. I just think that they're playing so well offensively, and they're so cohesive right now. It's the best that Duke has looked all season long consistently, and I think that's the scary thing to walk into. And they'll be ready to go for Carolina, and I think Kansas finds a way against Villanova. I do think Villanova will hang around. I don't think this is going to get out of hand, but I just think that Villanova doesn't quite have the firepower to play with Kansas right now, without Justin Moore, and then that sets up a Duke-Kansas championship game, which I think a lot of people would love to see, and I think the storybook comes to a storybook conclusion, and Duke finds a way. I really do. I think they're the best team in the country.
It has to be that way. Huh?
It feels like it. It does. We can't get in the way of it.
It would feel weird if they don't win it all. Like if they lose, there's going to be like a state of shock, I think, around that isn't there from other times they lost. Like I think if they lost to Michigan State, it would have been one thing. Like now that they made the Final Four, they almost have to win it all. They made it this far.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, of course, appreciate it.
I'm sorry, Gabe. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But one thing that will lead to, get ready for Hot Take next Tuesday afternoon on the Paul Feinbaum Show. Who's really better, Krzyzewski with 6 or Saban with 6?
Oh, man.
Brett, we need to have that debate. Come on.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not qualified for that one. I'm not qualified.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Kevin. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Kevin Sweeney on his way to the Final Four in New Orleans at CBB _.
We'll have that debate. You know that's coming.
Oh, I'm ready for it. I'm ready. We'll pose it to the text line when it gets to that. We'll pose it to them. But I have to tell you about one of my favorite sponsors. Did you know your butt has a favorite app? And it is SeatGeek. That's right. And the SeatGeek app is the best way to get tickets for live events. You go to SeatGeek.com or get the app. And the one thing I love about them is the variety. If you want Grizz, you want Tiger tickets, they got them. Beale Street Music Festival tickets, they got them. You want to go see a show at the Orpheum, one of our theaters in town, they got them. SeatGeek is so beloved by butts everywhere because they've made it the highest rated ticket app. It rates every single ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal. And green means good, red means bad. It's very simple, and they want to make it as user-friendly and easy as possible for you. And if you use my promo code, you can go ahead and get $20 off. You can get $20 off your first purchase with my promo code GABE56 at SeatGeek.com or the SeatGeek app. That's promo code GABE56 for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab this break. When we come back, Brett, you mentioned it, and it's interesting to see what Eric Musselman is doing at Arkansas in recruiting has been absolutely unbelievable. We come back with that right here on Sports 56 98.5.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited, with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling on Sports Time. Autos on Listener Line 901-360-8255. Questions I have asked today is, where is your vitriol aimed? Where's your anger aimed with the notice of allegations toward the University of Memphis at Penny Hardaway? Or is it aimed at the NCAA? Or is there a mix of both? Is it a little more nuanced than that? A couple of house cleaning things before we talk about Eric Musselman and what he's been doing. And McDonald's All-American game got another commit yesterday. Women's college basketball tournament, those Elite Eight games last night were pretty good. UConn versus NC State goes to 2 OTs. Paige Beckers
Classic.
was unreal. Paige Beckers was crazy good last night. 27 points, 15 points once overtime started. So
and her jump shot form, I mean, the elbow is perfect. I don't know who taught her how to shoot in the backyard, but it is perfect form.
Her backcourt mate, Azzy Fudd, is pretty good too. She had 19 points. She's a good player.
Well, Gino Ariama, he never wins a thing though, does he?
How many is he at now? How many? I mean, Final Four appearances. Somebody's got. I mean, that is a whole lot. Also, Louisville beats Michigan by 12. And Haley Van Lith's got a bag, man. She is a really good player. She can dribble, shoot, take people off the dribble, and she's not all that big either. I was impressed to see her last night. Also, for AAC purposes, Tim Jankovic, I know I'm a little late to this, but Tim Jankovic retires. He had 6 full years at SMU, including a 30-5 year where he was a pretty high seed, 39 years in coaching, 62 years old, and he has retired away, stepped away. And SMU replaces him with Rob Lanier, who has been the Georgia State head coach for some time now. And he's done well with them. He's had a couple of tournament appearances, but he's also been at Siena and Georgia State and gotten to the tournament at both.
He'll come in plenty hungry. Tim Jankovich has a son who just is a bench player, just a reserve, on the Kansas Final Four team.
Mm-hmm. Tim Jankovich, he did a good job at SMU.
He did.
He really did after all the Larry Brown stuff, and he was on the bench for Larry Brown. And I think toward the end of the Larry Brown era, he was the guy calling the shots. That's sort of the vibe I got from the whole thing.
It felt like that.
Yeah, but 62, retired. I thought he still had more. This year, he's close enough to the tournament. He had a good team this year.
I think the last 3 years have taken a lot of tread off of everybody, just dealing with testing and protocols and COVID and NIL.
Changing everything. Yeah, I guess so. And another
it's a young man's racket.
There's another sort of level to that too when you're talking about the AAC is conference realignment and where you stand nationally, and maybe that has something to do with it. But Tim Jankovich officially steps away now. Eric Musselman, and the fact that he got to an Elite Eight with the team he had this year is amazing to me. I mean, I cannot. I still am in disbelief. There's 2 coaches this year that really impressed me with what they did, and that's Kelvin Sampson.
Lost to Hofstra, got to the Elite Eight.
But that's Kelvin Sampson and Eric Musselman. Eric Musselman, though, what he's doing on the recruiting trail, we know about Nick Smith, a combo guard, number 1 combo guard in the nation. Jordan Walsh is a small forward at 5-star. He added another one at the McDonald's All-American game last night, Anthony Black from Duncanville, really tall, sort of rangy, lengthy point guard.
And Anthony Black was at the Tennessee game, the game I attended in Fayetteville on Saturday, February 19th, and they had the red carpet out for him.
Well,
it was the full court press for him that day. And as great as this class is, and it's up to number 2 at Rivals, John Shira is still at number 1 with his first class at Duke. The number 9 player in the country from North Little Rock is going to Oregon. If they'd have kept one more guy from home, at home, Arkansas, I think, would be number 1 with that guy.
In talking about a Duke recruiting class being number 1, just omit them. That's cheating.
Yeah.
That's cheating. Yeah. It's Duke. But to do that at Arkansas, that doesn't happen. And I look at that Heat Check college basketball article that you and Kevin were referencing, and them at number 1. That's not a ridiculous thought. It's not a crazy thought considering what they have coming in. And the difference is when you
Duke
talk about
wins it all, Shira starts number 1 next year.
Yeah, probably so. But when you're talking about recruits, and we've seen it here in Memphis, you have to coach those recruits. You have to bring them along. You have to You have to make them mesh. Eric Musselman has done that with all the teams he's had so far at Arkansas. Even at Nevada, he dated back to Nevada, had some wins there in the NCAA tournament. If there's one coach right now, or not even one, there's several coaches, but if I'm talking about Eric Musselman as a coach to be able to bring together some young players, to be able to put them out there as lottery picks, to make them produce as a team, I think Eric Musselman's my guy for that job.
Yeah, he's got it going in those ranks. You know, Nick Smith 4 overall at Rivals, Jordan Walsh 19, Anthony Black 27, Darian Ford from in-state, from an undefeated Magnolia team down in Columbia County. He's 76. Joseph Pinion at Morrilton, he's 128. We know with the galaxy of stars that Penny Hardaway's recruited here, that player that's 76. That might as well mean 376 if you don't perform. It also could mean number 1.
What's the cutoff, do you think? Are we talking top 50? You give people the nod. You sort of assume that they are as advertised.
30 to 50. I mean, 76, 91. Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Once you break through to the 4 stars, that's when you start to not think of it as a sure thing. And we've seen here, it's never a sure thing. You look at Amani Bates and how that all ended up this year.
I don't know that Nolan ever signed a class like this.
I would want to reach deep into the bag and get some historical knowledge on how this is. I mean, from a recruiting class standpoint, this is probably the best in Arkansas history, right?
And we know he can cobble together the transfer, the portal, and then on the floor coaching, and they're not going to lose him. I mean, if the right NBA job at the end of the year, and when I say right, I'm talking somebody that's kind of stuck in 45 and 37 land and just can't get past that. But he's not leaving Arkansas to take on a 17-win team. And he's not. I don't think Arkansas would ever let him get out of town for another college job.
If he gets offered, if there's the agents behind closed doors, I'm sure Arkansas would make sure they offer him enough money to keep him around.
Yeah, they will. Brett Northworthy here for FanDuel. One of the things I love about betting, my favorite sports, is I'm always finding new player props or game props that I love. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine NBA player props you love with NHL scores for a chance to score an even bigger payout tonight. All NBA from me. Bucks, money lines, Bucks Sixers over 232, and Giannis over the point total. If you don't want to build your own same-game parlay, check out the popular same-game parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. Earlier this year, over 14,000 customers won a total of $1.1 million during the Bucks at Lakers game. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code CASH to get $150 in site credit, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. Make every moment more and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code CASH so they know I sent you. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Hour 1 is behind us. Hour 2 and hour number 3 ahead. We have a whole bunch to get to, including some NFL news. Also, some Grizzlies, some NBA. Grizzlies have 6 games left. We talk about some playoff scenarios. But coming up next, talk with our good friend Brent Beard on some college football.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point energy-saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week, and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985 Sport, NU 006-786, MSRP 25407, Outlander NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, 225 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 2 of Sports Time with Gabe and Stats is here. Brent Beard will join us in just a moment after I tell you about our second hour sponsor. And they're our good friends at the Big Green Egg. And the Big Green Egg is the last grill you will ever have to buy. Talk about in sports. I talk about with grilling. Your best ability is your what? Availability. Make sure that you're able to do it every day of the year, 365 around the clock. Big Green Egg has a lifetime warranty on all its ceramic parts. They've had that since 1995. A lot of people have had their eggs 30 plus years, and they continue to use them at a high level. And you can do a bunch of things on it. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill. You can smoke some ribs. You can cook some burgers on your back patio. You can cook desserts. I had a friend one time on their egg make the best apple crumble in the world. It was fantastic. Also, I've had a pizza on there as well. Smoke a pizza is actually really, really good. And again, when you talk about the ceramic and you talk about the availability, you make sure that it does not rust. Because with a lot of those gas grills, with that metal, once the elements, the rain get to them, they tend to rust. The Big Green Egg does not do that. It's a 100% natural lump wood charcoal grill, so the flavor is always going to be great. And it has 7 different sizes, all with a lifetime warranty, and they have a size and price point for just about everybody. You can find it around the area at Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, East Memphis Ace, and Cordova Ace Hardware. So if you're looking for a do-it-all, reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than our friends at the Big Green Egg.
Gabe, you are speaking the truth about the reliability, and this is the last grill you'll buy. I had a grill one time that I had moved all over the country, and in one move, it was apropos. I picked it up and it fell into about 4 pieces. I said, "Well, it's time."
Yeah, listen. Those gas grills. Once that rust starts hitting them, their days are starting to be numbered.
We need to get an egg up at the station for next Thursday when we have Masters all day and the opening day of baseball.
What are we going to smoke, Brad? What are we smoking? What are we going to put on there?
Everything. Just get everything on it.
Let's go ahead and do that. I bet Brent Beard would approve of something like that. Brent Beard joins us now at Brent Beard on Twitter. Brent, how are you?
I tell you, when Brent got a new one, it's when his mama told him to.
It's time to quit moving that thing around the country.
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, that's precisely.
I mean, it fell into about 3 big pieces. I said, "Well, that's it."
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you probably put it back together a few times before you gave up.
That's when it was sacrificed. But you're right, Brent. There's a lot of stories out there today, and I know you have to, and we talk about it a lot. You cover the ACC quite closely, and
sure.
and we keep up with it, and we know the history of Duke and North Carolina, and it's going to be a celebration of that all week, and it'll be a pitched atmosphere at the Venerable Dome come Saturday night late. But I've heard people talking about what would be the comparison in college football, in a college football national championship game. What rivalry would be the one that would be off the chain? And, down in these parts, we think Iron Bowl. But I think if Michigan, Ohio State took it to a national championship game, or any of those that had just met a month ago, and then they met in a college football playoff championship.
Well, I think the Oklahoma, Texas would probably be off the chart if that happened too. I mean, Alabama.
Well, it was when they met in the Big 12 championship game just a few years ago. That was a great scene.
Sure, it was. And now this is for Gabe's time, but Brett and I actually remember Southern Cal and USC in their heyday when
Notre Dame in Southern Cal,
and when that would have made a difference. So, but yes, or Yeah, or a Southern Cal Notre Dame type thing would have too. Good. That's a good question as to where that would be. So, you've seen your opponent for the third time. You wouldn't have much of that in college football, but that would be fascinating. But and look, with all the to do about both those teams, it still wouldn't shock me if Kansas won the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And this was pointed out to us yesterday by our good friend David Cobb from CBS Sports, but North Carolina, Duke, Villanova, Kansas, all in the Final Four. Are we all prepared for the conversations from some of the people that don't want to expand the playoff about how this is an example of why we shouldn't? Because the Blue Bloods are always going to make it out alive.
Yeah. Look, this is apples and oranges as far as the college football playoff is concerned. But yeah, I've heard a little bit of that throughout this week. It's still got to be expanded. I mean, just allow the access, and I won't go into all the reasons why, but it's still very much necessary. And I tell you what, of all those coaches in this thing this weekend, I don't think Jay Wright gets enough publicity. Frankly,
never does.
It's going to be tough for them to win after losing Justin Moore. What a shame that was. But man, oh man, what he does it. He does it right. He does it well, and pardon the pun there. Nothing they do and how he coaches will be surprising.
And he does almost the impossible. He gets lost in a big city, in a big sports town.
He does,
Again, Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Penn State football. I mean, there's just so many things that would have ranking over him in his city, and he just keeps on doing it year after year. If he were to get his third, only a crazy person would rank John Calipari as a better coach than Jay Wright.
Yeah. Look, and to Brad's point, if he gets his third on Monday night, I mean, that would be like it's not like it's spread out over 20 years, is it, guys? It's spread out over basically 10 or less. That's what would be so impressive with all that. But boy, oh boy, look, I think at this point, I appreciate Cal what he's done, but look, you got to get some rings, and they don't have a lot of them right now in Lexington. That's what some of their fans are talking about.
Mm-hmm. And some of the stays are getting less and less this year. Losing to St. and I know what St. Peter's did. I appreciate what St. Peter's did, but to lose in the first round to a team like that, you can't have that happen with the level of talent he has.
No, 1 of 6 from 3, and then St. Peter's went to some kind of a zone defense, and that confused Kentucky. And look, as that game, I remember that game well as it went on. Toward the end of the game, Kentucky tightened up. You could tell it.
He tightened up. He always does.
Oh yeah. What we've got a guy in the area says that sphincter muscle gets a little tighter in the end, and that, unfortunately for them, that's exactly what happened.
Some news today out of where you live, out of your hometown, Jacksonville. More games that will be played at Wembley Stadium. They've contracted for a bunch. Right now, on Jacksonville Sports Talk Radio, are the Jags primary or secondary?
It really depends on what station it is. They are primary. I would. They're primary until the Gators are playing really well. I mean, the station I'm associated with, frankly, has both of them, and that is a good question. I've always said the NFL is easier to cover because you've got fewer teams than you do. But I tell you what's happening down here, and we're elated to see it. Is I think now I'm not saying this is going to happen this year, but Florida, Miami, and I do think LSU is going to be better. But I think Florida, Miami are going to take off sooner than later, and that's really going to make things exciting here. People, guys, I'm just being honest here. people don't trust the Jaguars down here. They don't trust the management to put them together.
I don't blame them.
And they really have shown no reason for doing that, to trust them that much either. Now, they've got a little bit more talent, but they still make really dumb decisions for smart people in that building. And until they've got some consistency going on, say like the Titans or someone like that, there's going to be a lot of skepticism about anything they do.
Do they get it locally? Are the management, kind of the full-time staffers, are they liked in the community? Because here the Grizzlies very much are and work hard to be a centerpiece of the community.
You don't see them a lot. Now, when they go on their season ticket campaign, you'll see more of them. But you really, you've got your owner, your head coach, your, these other guys in the upper echelon of the administration. That's kind of when you see them. I think some of them get out and talk to the Rotary clubs and things like that. But the reality is that you really, there's a lot of this group here. Frankly, they're fairly anonymous. If they walk down the street, I don't know, people would know who they are.
Mm-hmm. What about a guy like Trent Baalke in that front office? How is he talked about in Jacksonville? Is it very negatively, or they not really pay attention to what he's doing as a GM?
Well, over the last few months, he's been talked about a lot, mostly with 4-letter words. But because he has really took the brunt of the decision making in the organization, frankly, and this organization, when it had its playoff run in the mid '90s, people were paying attention to them, but they have been such a perennial Chicago Cub years ago loser,
right?
And I think people know what we're talking about here. That it would take them several years in a row of winning double-digit games before really a lot of people pay that much attention to them. On a personal scale, I've got enough to do with the colleges and really have very little to do with them. But you can't live down here and not understand in many ways what an abysmal franchise that they have been for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. And I think the hire of Doug Peterson, I think anything would have been accepted after that debacle with Urban Meyer. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. Oh, merciful heavens!
I tried to defend him.
But look,
keyword trying for sure there, Brett.
And I won't get off on this long, but I still think that somewhere deep down inside, Urban is a pretty good football coach, but it's pretty obvious now. Really, Urban does not need to be in charge of the football team. He just doesn't.
And people, what's bizarre is people talk about the return to college too, and I don't see it.
No.
I don't see that going well on the recruiting trail. The way he treated those guys for the Jags, it's interesting. But I still think that
I will once again try to defend him.
I still think
I don't know how
winning ball games does show a lot about who he is as a coach. I mean, he's a good football coach.
Yeah, but I will defend once again. I don't know how every bit of Aaron Hernandez falls in his lap.
Yeah.
When he had Aaron Hernandez 4 years and the New England Patriots had him longer than that, and they had him as a grown man and he was being paid. But that's for another day. I think I've even lost that one.
The formative years argument, Brett. That's the formative. And also with Aaron Hernandez, that was just from the CTE and everything else. It's just one of those things that just.
And they were
probably best to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think I've told you this before, that the Gator fans, they're never giving the 2 national championship rings back, but I will be surprised if they ever put Urban in the Gator Ring of Honor. Because he's up for it next. People may not realize that, but there are Bull Gators, which is the equivalent of what, Brad, the Red Elephant Club in Alabama and so forth, that they don't want him to have that top honor as far as having his name on the stadium. Urban was always unnecessarily complicated and way too conflicted within his person to really ever reach what I think he could have been. If
Great
Urban,
description.
If Urban had the demeanor of a Jay Wright, he would be up there and close to Nick Saban status. But that has not been the case.
I don't think Gators fans really expect that program to be on the level this year that Urban had them for all those years.
No.
What's reasonable, though, to expect from Billy Napier in year one?
I'll tell you this, though, Gabe. He's going to really be good. He has made a big difference here behind the scenes, and it's little things. I mean,
being a nice guy.
Yeah.
Sort of the culture idea.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing is, he's actually, hope you're sitting down, he's actually worked with the media.
Very transparent.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll practically let them in the shower stalls.
Yeah, I mean, he has given them a lot more breathing room to watch the team do what they need to do, and frankly, I think he's smart enough to know that he's got a lot of making up to do from a head coach at Florida as far as public relations and winning that fan base back. Now, I don't think they've got the players yet, and they won't for probably 2 or 3 years because you've got to build your roster. But, I mean, what you hear from about he and his staff and what he has done, frankly, has been tremendous. He handled that Emory Jones situation really well. Emory Jones, who was the starter at Florida last year, and let's just be honest, as we're doing that all this segment, is Emory Jones is not a SEC quarterback. Now, you put him in, he can be back up, and he's good for the team and all that. He's in the transfer portal now. But instead of jettisoning him out, what Napier and that coaching staff did is they treated him well. He went to class. He was a part of the team. And he just realized, guys, after 2 or 3 practices, that there were better quarterbacks there than he was and is. And hopefully he will land in a good spot that takes care and advantage of his talents. But I'll say this, 5, 10, 15 years from now, Emory Jones will be able to come back to the University of Florida without any problems.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think? Who do you think this year quarterback where the lean should be? I know we're in spring practice.
AR Anthony
Richardson or Jack Miller?
Yeah. Now this Jack Miller kid from Ohio State,
he can play.
He can, and he's got their attention too. Now, to Brent's point, there's no doubt that Anthony Richardson may be a superstar if he can stay healthy and he can become more consistent. Because I mean, he can make a Tom Brady throw and then come back and play later and just miss the target entirely.
Well, you got to stay away from the backflips and the dancing in the locker room.
Yeah.
Did he? Isn't that the story of the bowl game? He got hurt dancing, didn't he?
Well, I think that probably was. They made that into a bigger deal than what it was. He had a leg injury that took him back to the high school days.
Right.
That never really got healthy, and you probably had one of those, Gabe.
Of course.
You
lingered.
You had to nurse one along for months until it really, and finally you were able to get it well, and that made a difference. But I'll say this, and I've been very free about saying this over the last few weeks, they better be a lot more physical in that weight room because they start with Utah and Kentucky. And I'm telling you, if they're not careful, they could get bullied on the line of scrimmage by Utah.
First college football prediction of the year. Tennessee and Florida, when they meet in the fourth game of the year, both will be 3-0. Game day, and it'll feel like old times with the Vols in Florida playing late September.
Oh, that would be incredible. That would obviously mean that Florida would have beaten Utah in Kentucky.
And Tennessee
right
wins
now,
at Pitt.
I think if they split them, they would be good. But boy, oh boy, that now look. I used to not say this, but I could see Tennessee being more at that time being undefeated than Florida would.
Yeah. You're talking about Ball State, Pitt, and Akron. I think that's fair to think. Pitt does have Keaton Slovis headed over there, so maybe they can sort of pick up where they left off with Kenny Pickett. With Tennessee though, and I've seen this with a Josh Heupel offense. I just wonder the staying power once you get a whole bunch of film on that type of offense, the speed he goes with, the downfield concepts he used. I wonder. And I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying I wonder what it looks like in year 2, year 3, year 4 in the SEC.
Look what he did in year 1. I mean, Hendon Hooker, Virginia Tech, Hendon Hooker, Tennessee was two different players.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Look, there's no question about that. Now, what he did was really smart. They made an emphasis early on, we're going to throw the ball up and down the field, we're going to score points, and we're going to bring in fans.
Yep.
And we're going to increase interest, and that's what they did. But if you want to be where they want to be, that defense has got to get much better too.
Yeah.
Even they need a Al Wilson.
Hey,
they need a John Henderson.
Hey, guys,
don't we all?
Hey, and to your point, Brent, even game 1, game 2, some of those overthrows by what's the guy's? I forget his name. Joe Milton.
Milton. Early in the year against Pitt.
Some of those overthrows were impressive. Good Lord, he launched those things. But Brent, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Always, gentlemen.
Thank you, Brent. Have a great week.
My pleasure. Take care.
Brent Beard with us every week, and the go-to place to sell any vehicle in this area, it's got to for crazy good money. It's got to be All-Star Chevrolet at Olive Branch, right there off Highway 78, first exit off Kraft Goodman Road off Highway 78, first exit. You're there at All-Star. You don't have to buy one of the All-Star car trucks. Just bring it on, even if you owe money on it. But if you're ready to go car truck shopping, the place to be is All-Star Chevrolet. It's Chevy Truck Month. Ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any member of that fantastic team. They're all All-Stars at All-Star Chevrolet, and more Silverados in the pipeline. Your good credit deserves zero interest, and that's what you'll get at All-Star Chevrolet, plus $1,000 accessory allowance, another $500 in bonus cash. These will go fast, so try to get down there this week. Pre-order whatever you want. All-Star Chevy is loaded up with certified pre-owned Chevys, lots of certified Silverados. If you want to shop the best pre-owned vehicles, go to allstarautogroup.com and find the one you want. Come down, test drive it, drive them all. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not South Haven, it's not Collierville, it's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We switch gears. When we come back, we talk some Grizzlies, magic number down to 1 to get that number 2 spot in the Western Conference. Also, we talk about Dylan Brooks and his quote on Andre Iguodala last night. We'll be right back on Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Hey, you! Ever wanted to learn a language like French or Spanish or even Norwegian, but thought it'd be too difficult or time-consuming? Then try Babbel. Quick 10-minute lessons.
Siesta.
Bambola. Games, podcasts, even live online classes with a real teacher.
Hola, clase.
In no time, chatting about real-life topics will feel, well, effortless. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com.
Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right. You'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket? Well, it's up to you. You could choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. Join FanDuel today with promo code BIGHEAD. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. That's promo code BIGHEAD on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. Autos on this line, 901-360-8255. Getting the Zone AutoZone. Also, watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Grizzlies get the win last night to improve to 30 games over 500 versus the Warriors at home. They win 123-95. That puts their magic number down to 1 to hold on to that number 2 spot. So if you're looking at the standings, it looks like they're going to hold on to that number 2 spot. Already clinched their division, already are clinched a playoff spot. They're just looking at who they're going to be playing. And right now, they're going to be playing a play-in team if they're in that 2 spot. And potentially it could be the Timberwolves, the Clippers, or the Pelicans.
Who do you want?
That's the question. That's a $1 million question. I
Then,
think of
then
all
who
those,
do you want in that next round?
Of all those,
Golden State better be careful, Gabe. They could fall. Not only they're not going to win the 2, they could fall out of the 3. They could fall out of the 4.
And they're not looking good right now. They need Steph Curry and Draymond Green on the floor at the same time. Klay Thompson is a throw-in. I think Klay Thompson certainly helps. But even if those guys get on the floor, the way they're talking about some of these injuries, I wonder if Draymond Green's going to be hobbled. I wonder if Klay Thompson's going to be hobbled. Is Steph Curry going to be able to carry the load come playoff time? I mean, he's shown that he's capable of doing so. but there are capable teams ahead of them in the Suns and the Grizzlies. And heck, the Mavericks have been trending in the right direction since the trade deadline.
The idea that for the first 2 rounds, games 1, 2, 5, and 7, if 5 and 7 have to be played, they're going to be played on Beale Street.
Yes, and I think the one team, this is going to sound, weirdly enough, and you wouldn't have thought this before the year, you want to avoid the Timberwolves right now in that 7 spot. If they continue to be in that 7 spot, that's the one first-round matchup that gives you a little bit of pause because the Grizzlies have handled the Clippers. The Grizzlies, I think, could handle the Pelicans. I don't think there's many matchup issues between those two teams. Now, the Clippers at full strength, which by all accounts they're not going to be at.
Could T-Wolves push it to a Game 7 and the Grizzlies have to win a Game 7 at FedEx Forum?
Haven't we seen? They've beaten each other on their home courts. That's what they've done this year. They've split. So the Timberwolves certainly give them issues because the Timberwolves between D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards, they have enough scoring to compete with everybody. And if all 3 of those guys are on any given night, they could put up upwards of 120, 130 points. So I think, but I don't think the Timberwolves style is something that should scare the Grizzlies, if that makes sense.
Can they win? Could the Timberwolves win 4 games in 2 weeks against the Grizzlies?
I think it'd be a tough ask.
I don't think they can.
I think it'd be a really tough ask. I think the Grizzlies win that series. But I think if the Grizzlies are locked into that 2 spot, that's the one team you look at as, okay, maybe a little bit of a threat.
A little bit like last year's Grizzlies against Utah. Okay, you'll get that plucky game, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Scare us a little while, get our attention.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still on.
Who do you want that next round?
I'm still on board with I want to see the Grizzlies play in a playoffs. I want to see the playoffs. I want to see how it works out. I know they have some experience from last year, not much though. They have the 5 games, the gentleman's sweep. Mm-hmm. But I'm coming around more to just seeing how deep the team is, to seeing what they're able to do. I mean, what Tyus Jones, Desmond Bane, what he's unlocked with John Morant out, with Dylan Brooks. What he's been able to do, I'm starting to get on board with the Grizzlies making a deep run in the playoffs. I'm about there. I think as far
NBA
as
Finals.
I think as far as they want to push it, I really do think that now.
Win the West, top Phoenix. Gabe, I'm there. I've been there.
But Brett, it's a different level, and the reason I'm there is the level of consistency. It's not. They haven't won one, lost one. They have really put a stretch every time they go on these stretches of just these torrid stretches of basketball, and they lead and they lead the NBA in so many statistical categories: rebounds, steals, blocks, offensive rebounds. Steven Adams, the big part of that. Points in the paint, fast break points, second chance points. And I think now somebody could correct me if I'm wrong on this. I think they're tied for points per game. Just when you look at what their body of work they've put together, I have no reason to not believe that they can't do the same thing in the playoffs.
And DeMichael Cole said it yesterday with us. They've tightened up on defense. They've kind of gotten back to that pre-All-Star break defensive mindset, and it's showing.
Is there – and I'm not going to say – I'm not here to say it's going to fall all the way off. But John Morant getting inserted back to the lineup certainly puts a hamper on some of the things they've been doing defensively. He gets blown by quite a bit, and he has some issues on that side. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go back to giving up 120 points per game like they did to start the season. But
he can blow by on that other end and make up for it.
Exactly. But I think the Grizzlies, and this may offend some people, I don't really care. The Grizzlies are a better defensive team when John Morant's not on the floor. And that's defensive team. That's defense. I'm not saying as a team they're better. I'm saying defensively.
Just one end of the floor.
They have been they have proven that they work a little better with John Morant off the floor.
But even when he gets blown by, even when he gets beat on defense, they have rim protectors.
Yes.
They have a pretty good back line.
They do. If you can keep Jaren out of foul trouble, that's the one thing, and he's done a fair job at it. He still had his games here and there.
Are they really going to foul a player out in the playoffs?
They tighten up that whistle tightens up a little bit. I mean, it depends what night it is. I don't know. They tend to not call as much. They tend to let them play a little more, so maybe that would help out.
Ideally, who do you want? The Grizzlies advance out of that first round. Who do you want to see? Are you as scared of Dallas as some are?
I think Dallas has shown they have the potential to get in a half-court game with the Grizzlies, and that could make the Grizzlies uncomfortable. That I am somewhat scared of Dallas. Does that mean I don't think the Grizzlies can win? No, I think the Grizzlies can certainly go win that game. But the Mavericks are one of those teams that stylistically in the West I think could give the Grizz a little bit of trouble with Luka and how he operates.
I don't want anything
on
going
the
to
offensive end.
I don't want anything to do with going to Utah.
Yeah, I don't know how they shoot a lot.
Vibe, arena.
They shoot a lot and they shoot well, but they don't scare me as much as they did last year.
Now, you understand, and I want our listeners to understand, even with Central Time Zone, and first round could be against Minnesota, second round could be against Dallas, we're still going to have those 8:20, 8:30, 8:40 games because of Western Conference.
Mm-hmm. And also, another team that potentially, and I say potentially because I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, who's going to be on the floor, but potentially, if the Nuggets were to get their guys back and they aren't hobbled, that's another team in the Western Conference who can make the Grizzlies uncomfortable with their pace. I don't think they're some defensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that the pace and how they play the game could make the Grizzlies a little out of sorts.
We're down to the finish. I mean, everybody's got 5, 6, 7 games left, really about max. I think San Antonio, they have 7 left, 31 and 44. Yeah, that's right. They have 7 left. But we're really down to the end of it. Is it enough time for Denver with 31 losses to move to the 3 with Golden State at 28 losses?
No, that seems
3 back in the loss column's too far back now.
I think so. Yeah. And also, you look at the bottom of the play-in right now. Lakers about to fall out of the play-in. Lakers are about, and I say that too because the Spurs they haven't played well, but they're at 31 wins. Lakers at 31 wins. Spurs just have one more loss of their half game.
The Lakers can't suffer any more indignity, can they?
Did you see LeBron
shut down
last
time?
night? LeBron just turned his ankle last night. He's doubtful for tonight's game. I don't know what to say. And they lost to the Pelicans, too. The Pelicans have surpassed them.
Blew that lead.
Are the Lakers going to miss the play-in? I guess that's a question. That's
they are, and that will hurt the Grizzlies with the draft pick.
Yes, you don't want it to fall out. You want it to be outside so you can keep top 10 protected, correct?
But you can't get everything
it's top 10 protected?
Right.
Yes. And then probably top 8, top 6, top 4 for the next few years or whatever the heck it is. Some of those things confuse the hell out of me.
How come when we play the blame game with the Lakers, we get Frank Haith, or not Frank Haith. I'm sorry, the
Vogel.
coach, Frank Vogel. We get the complaints about him. We get the complaints about Rob Pelinka. We get the complaints about Kurt Rambis and his wife. How come no real criticism? Years ago, don't dare criticize Magic Johnson. How come no criticism? We got criticism of Jimmy Buss, never any for Jeannie Buss. Why? Magic comes running to her rescue if she starts getting too much.
It's just when you have someone with the historical significance, she's been around that organization
since she was a child,
forever,
all her life,
forever.
Yeah.
So it's
but
tough.
she gets the benefit of it. It's going well. It's look at Jenny Buss, in the basketball business all her life.
Does she get all that for roster moves and everything else? I don't know if she does get the credit for that type of thing.
I don't know if she gets roster moves, but she gets
kind
of the
some
overview
glory.
credit.
But I feel like a lot of I don't hear a bunch of people praising Jeannie Buss for the bubble championship, for a championship.
And I don't know that I want to be the guy that takes and knocks Jeannie Buss's head off. I don't know if I want to be that guy either. I mean, hey, yay, guy in Memphis,
I don't know
crushing Jeannie Buss, but she never gets the criticism. It's always just the credit.
I don't know. I don't know what you would say about her as far as criticism. What would you say? The Rob
she owns the
Pelinka
team.
Yeah, but would you say that you hired the wrong GM who then hired? Like, are you saying her hires are wrong? What exactly would you pin on her?
But she's not. She's not just a non-critical player in the whole thing. She, by every story you see on her, she's in every meeting.
Yeah,
always busy.
You know what? I would blame in a lot of ways what the Lakers are going through right now, their offseason moves, and I think the offseason moves have to do with Rob Pelinka. And LeBron,
but he gets his.
And listen, but I think that's where the blame sort of starts and ends in a lot of ways. And injury issues. You have AD on the floor for most of the year. You never know where they're at. So I don't mind your thought process on Jeannie Buss, but I don't know how much we could really go after her for. If you're blaming her, you have to have a reason for blaming her, and I don't really know what we would say is her expressly her fault with what's going on with the Lakers.
And how many more titles will LeBron James win as a member of the Lakers?
Ooh.
Are we going to stop it?
That's a hard one, huh?
They didn't sign up for that.
No, they didn't. They signed up
Anthony Davis won?
They signed up for more than that, but one is one. One is more than some people have.
Yeah, but LeBron had a lot more coming with it than that.
I get that. Now, also the in the Grizzlies game last night with the Warriors, the Andre Iguodala stuff. We know back when Andre was traded to the Grizzlies, he wanted to get out of town, didn't ever show up here.
Had ugly comments.
Yes, he did. He didn't want to be there, and he didn't see the vision. Dylan Brooks, though, took exception to that then, and he took exception last night when he was asked about it. He said, "We all had the vision, and he didn't. It's perfect. Send him back to the Warriors." And you know what, Brett? Like, a lot of people are going to view
Put
this
it on a
around,
T-shirt, in a T-shirt capital of the world.
People are going to view this around the NBA as like, this guy's he's got too big of a head. Like, he really thinks he's all that on that small market team with the Grizzlies.
Know your place.
But you know
no,
what?
Too bad. I love
I love that.
I
absolutely love that. And you have people right now.
What did you say wasn't true?
He didn't see the vision. He's completely truthful. But I mean,
yeah.
On the other side, Andre Iguodala did go to he went to a bubble championship with the Heat.
Let's get a T-shirt. Blame Jeannie Buss.
You're going to get those printed?
Yeah.
You're going to sell them? We need to talk to Sane. Maybe he can get those squared away for you. But with the Dylan Brooks quote last night, I couldn't help but, you go around Twitter and you see some people in the media talk about potentially down the road Dylan Brooks being a trade asset that you use and you go get a better player with. I see that. I understand that thought process.
I want to ride out this group. I want to see what this group gets.
But I agree there. And also, Dylan Brooks is like, you need that guy that establishes a culture and has that
nasty in
that nasty about it. Like like the Tony Allen of what the grit and grind era was. You need a pest. You need that guy that you love having that everyone else hates that you have. And I think Dylan Brooks is that guy. Now,
and he's much more talented than Patrick Beverly, who fills that role and has for a lot of teams.
Yes, and Dylan Brooks can play on the offensive end very well. I mean, he can.
Last night
he makes it happen.
He was going strong.
Now, there's some nights where he shoots himself out of a game. Like he doesn't look all that great, but you take the good with the bad. But if there's a move out there that could potentially make your team better, and it involves Dylan Brooks, okay. I mean, and you go get a big name that you feel like would fit great. But until that presents itself, Brett, I think Dylan Brooks is an integral part of what we've seen in the growth of the Grizzlies. Like he is the culture. He is the guy that helps bring them along. I mean, he's the vet. I mean, he's 25 years old, but he's the vet on this team.
Let's run this race with the group we have now, and we'll know, but more importantly, that front office will know when they've gotten as far as they can get with this group. Mm-hmm. Now, let's see where it carries us.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see. It's already 30 games above 500 right now. 30 games above 500, second spot in the West. It's pretty high so far. Hopefully there's more heights. Now, let's go ahead and grab a break, final break of the second hour. Stick with us.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The Jeep Celebration event means huge savings at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude, we Gossett at $369 a month. Need muscle in your life? 2022 Dodge Charger XST, $487 a month. 2022 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab, $529 a month. And 2021 Fiat 500X Pop, we Gossett at $359 a month. Plus, trade up and we'll give you more for your ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 3.99, 3,500 down, must finance through Chrysler, Renegade, MPN 28108, MSRP 285, Charger, NH 126,525, MSRP 36,780, 1500, NS 148,242, MSRP 39,010, Pop MP 944,748, MSRP 28,560, includes all rebates and incentives, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/21/2022, dealer stock only.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sports book? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back to wrap up hour number 2 on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Hour number 3 will start with Bo Marchant. And we have a lot to discuss in the NFL. We've had a bunch of different moves made this offseason. We've had Tyreek Hill go to the Dolphins, Deshaun Watson, of course, to the Browns, Devontae Adams to Vegas, among other things. It's just been an unbelievably busy offseason. But to add to it, with head coaches meetings this week, they've had some votes. They've been getting together and sort of talking about these things. There's some overtime proposals that were on the table yesterday, and one has actually been amended and put through. The new overtime rule has now passed. It was brought up by the Colts and Eagles. Both teams will now be able to possess the ball in overtime, but only during postseason play. Brett, what do we think about this?
I don't know why you do something just for postseason. That's very baseball, kind of baseball having how they do extra innings, but come postseason we play real baseball. And now football kind of doing that, and football very rarely does a kind of a goofy baseball a thing, but they're doing it with this. But Gabe, you know,
kind of Rob Manfred-esque, isn't it? It really is.
It really was kind of. Let's grab something out of the suggestion box.
Listen, I am complete. Listen, I am all right with the rule changing. I don't think it needed to change. I don't think it was necessary. But if you're going to do it,
how did Cincinnati? How did that game end?
Yes, if you're going to do it all the way. It should be a rule.
Do it all the way.
For the entire.
But no overtime is going to be the magic bullet. There would be no way we do any overtime in any level of football that there's a consensus. Oh yeah, I like that.
I'm glad you caught what I put out today.
I loved it.
How the hell did
play defense?
Remember the AFC Championship game? You remember that? Chiefs versus Bengals? There was a interception by Von Bell that led to the Bengals being able to go kick a field goal to win that game. But all we want to think about is that divisional game between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And I would have loved to see Josh Allen possess the ball and be able to go down the field and score, because I think he would have. But don't let the other team walk your defense. And Josh Allen has nothing to do with this, but don't let the other team walk your defense down 80 yards and expect to go win a ball game. You don't win ball games that way.
And I saw Steve Weiss this morning on NFL Network, really fine reporter. He's also tweeting in the last 30 minutes, NFL just announced locker rooms will be reopened this year to media members. Steve Weiss this morning on NFL Network, he was talking about whatever proposal he thought would go through on overtime, it wouldn't be anything that extended games. The league wants less plays. Well, when I heard that, and I like him a lot, I thought, do you really believe that? Because we're getting ready to add an 18th game here soon.
Okay, dare I ask this? Isn't what they have proposed with the postseason, this both teams possess the ball, doesn't it still favor the person who wins the coin toss? Isn't that the same thing?
Sure doesn't hurt them.
If both teams score a touchdown, they get the ball first to go into sudden death and win the game. Brett, to me, it feels like the same thing with extra steps.
And this year we saw it in, what was the college game that just had the extended make it, take it over 2 points?
Nasty Big Ten game. It was
Illinois
and Wisconsin, maybe?
I think so.
It was a nasty Big Ten game.
I couldn't stand that.
Yeah. There's nothing – I don't think you can come up with a perfect OT rule. But
you're wrong.
It's just very – you like 2-point conversions back and forth?
There's nothing better than free football. The longer it goes on, the more free it is.
I'll say this. I
I think true
because the linemen are zombies.
I was going to think. I think 2-point conversions are not a normal football play. I don't think that tells you who the better team is. That's all. That's my argument.
Put me in
How
charge.
many do you work on?
Field goals.
Drop kicks.
You just go back 5 yards every time.
Ooh.
Doug Flutie with the drop kick.
Yeah.
Gabe, how many 2-point plays do you work on during a week?
One in particular. You go one.
You
really
get
hard,
one really down,
and then about 4 extra ones, depending on the look they may give you. But one is definite, and I'll tell you,
is the bread and butter, the go-to.
And you know what it is, Brett. And most of the time, it's a rollout,
run pass option.
It's a rollout one way or the other. Generally,
yeah.
Move the pocket, make it easy on the quarterback to try to hit that little front pylon. That's generally what it is. But one
maybe
for
sneak
sure,
a tight end out the back door. Yeah,
one for sure. But again, I guess sort of conclusion.
Why wouldn't the one play be this, Gabe? Why? Tell me why in a football building, why wouldn't the one play be you have 2 tight ends, you have a fullback, you splatter somebody and you give it to that tailback and you tell him to stay low? Why wouldn't it be that play?
Oh gosh, because you know what? Defenses they tend to know if you put a fullback in the backfield, they tend to know what's coming at them. I'll say that. If you give them a little 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 backs.
There's my 2-point play. Here's my rule: you can't throw the ball for it. You got to run it.
That's not fair. That's not fair, Brett. You would run
low man wins.
Your I formation, right? We've talked about this. Your I formation to the day you die, huh? If you were running offense, you would have dive. What would you have? Dive. You'd have a gut play. You'd have a dive. You'd have a power. And you wouldn't even have a sweep.
And a naked bootleg.
You wouldn't even try to go outside. You'd have a waggle.
Naked bootleg
Good old
to
waggle.
go outside. Well, you got to give me credit. I moved a long way from the wing tee.
Thank God. Thank the Lord you got away from the wing tee.
Which, that's all in the world Wildcat was.
If you were a college coach,
a variation of it.
If you were a college coach, you're running the wing tee, your recruiting numbers would be in the
That's
tubes.
what the Wildcat was, though.
It would be.
And it was vogue for
tubes,
people.
Brett.
I know. We'll get the people in the room that really wants to be here, Gabe.
And you know what? Oh my gosh! Of course you would. I can imagine Brett. Imagine Brett going out and signing at least 4 different short white fullbacks with the
Tom
neck.
Rathman.
I'm imagining
Tommy Banks at LSU.
6 foot, 245 pounds.
Love it.
Who was my guy at Tennessee? Greg Amsler. Was that his name? Help me, some UT fan.
Greg Amsler?
Yeah.
Mike Allstott. How about him?
Oh, yeah. Well, nose always bleeding. The bridge of it. Not nostrils, bridge.
You'd get a Peyton Hillis in there.
Yeah. Oh, Peyton Hillis had great hands.
Yeah, well,
that guy could catch anything.
Brett would be recruiting a bunch of white fullbacks with 3 syllables in their last name.
Give me Jason Cook at Ole Miss. He was a good fullback, had great hands. Had a great arm on a fake punt one time.
I'm glad you have advanced your offense to I-form.
Give me Christian Okoye.
Christian Okoye. It's time for a break. Hour number 3 on the way. Bo Marchant joins us at the top, hour number 3.
Nothing beats March Madness. The pure sound of a swish, the rattle of a slam dunk, the fans on their feet for the big moments. And the action just keeps getting better until a national champion is crowned. Hear all the action with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of this year's NCAA tournament, right here.
Tournament action on Sports 56 is brought to you by A1 Towing, Slow Down Memphis, Rural Smith Realtor, and Civil Axe Throwing.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Get in the game, Mid-South.
Coach Colin.
And Coach Hunter here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
We're maniacs for all this madness.
But if we're going to catch all these games, we need your help.
So we cooked up a 3-point plan to help you
rebound from your old ride. 1.
Pick any nicer, newer car on the lot.
2.
Pass us your old ride.
3.
Will come in with the assist.
And give you up to $3,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value.
Based on the price of the car you pick.
So if your old rod makes you feel second string,
it's time for a rebound.
Because you could get up to $3,000 more than it's worth.
Worried about fouls on your credit report?
Our For the People credit approval process is a slam dunk.
But hurry.
This deal's done at the buzzer.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Hunter, and we're your dealers.
For the people. See all the cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of the Kelley Blue Book Company, Incorporated, which is not affiliated with DeSoto Auto Sales. Offer absolutely ends March 31st, 2022.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Brett, things in the restaurant are fine, but like all restaurateurs will tell you, things are still not back to normal. Supply chains are interrupted. One week we can't find charcoal. Another week we're short on ribs. Another week they can't find the plastic bottles to fill our sauce jars with. I've watched in awe as our fellow Memphis restaurateurs have worked their way through these past months.
John, always new and exciting things at the Rendezvous.
People know we have Greek salad, vegetarian red beans and rice, and vegetarian nachos. But now we have desserts. Miss Barbara of O Taste and See has individually wrapped some wonderful desserts. We have key lime pie, chess pie, chocolate chess pie, and pecan pie. Not pecan pie, pecan pie. We also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, Diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy, and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour on this Tuesday, and we will talk the NFL. A lot of NFL news today on and off the field as they are meeting. Had the group picture. We'll try to find out who all wasn't in that picture. We know Bill Belichick wasn't. We talked to Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and from Sports Illustrated every week at this time. This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they keep the car experience very simple. They call it the ultimate car experience. You find the car you want within 45 minutes, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. That's a guarantee. That's a promise. They keep it that simple at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the referrals. Look at all the beautiful cars, but see the testimonials of very pleased customers. They're at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. All the cars thoroughly examined, test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. They have all the cars that you can imagine. If they don't, they'll go find the special car just for you, and you'll be treated like family by a kind, courteous staff at DeSoto Auto Sales. But they'll keep that ultimate car guarantee. I guarantee that. At DeSoto Auto Sales, come on down to DeSoto County to Goodman Road for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
He is the man, the myth, the living legend. From collegetopro.com, Bo Marchant at Bo Marchant on Twitter. Bo, how are you?
I need to go out with you and we can hang out. I need an intro like that everywhere I go.
Come on, Bo, we'll do it. We just figured out my plan to save the 2-point play. Make everybody run the ball, no passing.
Everyone lines up in 22 personnel and runs it right at you.
8-man front.
Hey, I got that old school in my heart, so I would have my hand up and I'd be voting yes if that was implemented.
Bring back Lorenzo Neal at fullback for the Titans.
Low man wins. Brett is into that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so the OT rule in all reality, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously, just for postseason play, both teams will possess, but during the regular season, it stays the same.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's progress. I think we were all a little disappointed that Josh Allen didn't have a shot last year to see, the way that game was flip-flopping back and forth between the Chiefs and the Bills in the playoffs, and Mahomes, and Tyreek, they make the touchdown, and Allen doesn't get a shot. I think that left a little sour taste in everyone's mouth, and now you get to end it. If they get their ball back, they have a shot to score, and then you go back to the old rules of sudden death. So I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect system, but nonetheless, at least both teams have provided an opportunity, and it's just not basically if you score a touchdown and, the game's over. So I like it. I think it's better than what it was, and, hopefully, they put this into the regular season. That's the weird thing. Regular season games do matter. They help you get to the postseason. I just find it ironic that they elect not to switch. I mean, it's not some catastrophically crazy change to the rules. It's just basically, why can't the Eagles and the Giants have each of possession during the regular season? I don't know why, but then that's the NFL, and they do things a little weird. Every time they take a step forward, they kind of take 2 steps back. So they're kind of always where they want to be.
But this was almost a goofy baseball move out of the Rob Manfred suggestion box.
Yeah, that's so funny because he does take a beating, Manfred. I mean, for the baseball, it is. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about this rule. I'm sure there's going to be a playoff game, especially how this last playoff went with so many games decided by 3 points. It'll be something we probably talk about even when there's a tied game going into regular season football. It'll be something we talk about, and we've always, at least on this show, I know even we've always discussed sudden death, tied games, the dislike for a game ending in a tie. But it is what it is. It's one of those things. I really don't pay much attention to it. I really don't. You're allowed to get the ball. You can stop the team or you can't, and you can score or you can't. Yeah, no, so I if you want to make it one way or the other, but really to me at the end of the day, somebody will win the game. It's just a matter of what team gives up the fewest amount of points.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting though, because Brett and I in the last segment sort of talked about the AFC Championship game, and it worked out for the Bengals. They got to stop. They ended up getting that interception. And also, I would be totally fine, I think, Bo, if you are going to make this rule, if you're going to implement it, make it stand for all of the season. Make it regular season, preseason, regular season, postseason.
Play ball.
It's just kind of bizarre that this is just the postseason rule. And also, I think there's a part of me that thinks it's the same thing with maybe a couple extra steps, because if both teams are tied at the end of their possessions, the team who won the coin toss will still then possess the ball and have a chance to go win in sudden death.
Yeah, see, and I think that should flip. I think the team that loses the coin toss should get it at the next possession. But again, it all comes down to execution. It comes down to who's going to win the game. I mean, even that the Falcons Super Bowl with James White when he scored that touchdown. It's ironic how I know that the Patriots came back in that game and that's how it ended up a tie. But sometimes these games, they are a stalemate until the final minutes, and then lo and behold, extra time rolls around and they find teams get nervous. You play a little bit different.
Urgency.
And, urgency. And it changes the dynamics. And how many times do we see a game that's basically been, deadlocked at just say 10-10 for 4 quarters? Lo and behold, we're 3 minutes in overtime and somebody puts a ball into the end zone. It's a different set of dynamics. And I think it just shows who the better team is. Most of the time it's who executes and who's better under pressure. And because it's a differerent mindset when hey, it's the first quarter. Okay, they got a field goal. It's a lot different. Right. Hey, if they get the ball inside our 40, we're in trouble.
All kidding aside, what about this for overtime in the NFL? Just NFL. I'm not talking about for college. And if you have a touchback, if the kicker kicks it through the end zone, you get the ball out to the 40. But you cannot punt. You must go for 4th downs. It can't be 3 and out and you pin them down. You must keep going for it, because then that way that wouldn't that takes some of the you win the coin toss thing out of it.
Yeah, I like that idea, Brett. I think the powers that be in terms of the NFL owners, I do think they want to keep it more traditional, and I don't know if they would go that outside the box in terms of teams not being able to punt.
Yeah, that's a little USFL for them.
Yeah, it is. I like it. I think it makes a ton of sense, but I still think the traditionalists of the NFL and that would kind of be reluctant to go that far. And like you said, that's more of a USFL idea, XFL. They're trying new things, and
they proposing everything.
If it's successful and people like it, I don't see why the NFL would not try it. I think you want to make your product better and easier for the fans to digest and feel happy about the end of a game, and not kind of be reluctant to feel that maybe you got robbed. Or I think any Buffalo Bill fan, feels that they didn't have a shot, in overtime. We know the rules, but nonetheless, it just kind of breaks your heart that you didn't get an opportunity, to maybe fight back and put, tie the game up and then go from there.
A little less than a month away from day one, round one of the NFL draft. And there's been a lot made about what the Steelers are going to do. And I know you cover it relatively closely. I think a lot of people think at 20 they could go quarterback. And there's been sort of talks about Mike Tomlin having dinner with Malik Willis, Mike Tomlin having dinner with Desmond Ridder. What do you think they do with that pick at number 20?
I wish I knew. I'd bet it, but you know what? I think they go on the interior. I think age-wise, I know they had some free agents in the off free agent offensive lineman signings, but Cam Hayward's getting up there in years. Stephon Tuitt is he's not reliable. Fantastic when he's on the field, but the poor guy cannot stay healthy. He cannot manage to be on the field probably more than 5 or 6 games a year. So I think if there's a power guy like that, I think they go in that direction. The one good thing about their particular predicament is I think they could take defensive back. They could go linebacker. They could go interior on offensive, defensive line. So, they could even go receiver. I don't think they will, but nonetheless, I mean, they lost James Washington, they lost Juju Smith-Schuster, they lost Ray McLeod. 5 of the 3 guys that were productive receivers on that, 3 of those 5 are no longer on the roster. So I think they can go in any and other directions. And the topic point that you brought up are the quarterbacks. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if they bring in one of those quarterbacks. But then on the flip side, I wouldn't rule out Baker Mayfield possibly being in a Steelers uniform by the time the season rolls around. So I think there's a lot there. I know that really doesn't answer your question, but I guess in a nutshell, there's so many little needs that the Steelers have, and I think this draft is deep enough so to where they're at, where they could take a Traylon Burks, they could take a Trent McDuffie, a DB, they could take a Trevor Panning, the North. Right. I mean, there's so many different options out there. We haven't even got to the Georgia guys on defense. I mean, throw any one of those guys into the mix. So I think it's a fortunate place that they're at because they're going to get a quality player, and they usually do pretty well, especially in the first round. Developing guys and bringing guys in. I mean, last year, Najee Harris and then Pat Fryman at the tight ends, they were very productive, impactful rookies. So I think they'll look to go in that direction again in terms of building through the draft. That's the way the Steelers like to do it. They're old school. But nonetheless, I would not be shocked if they bring in one of those quarterbacks because it's kind of like right, it might be on the precipice right when these guys start to pick up some momentum, these quarterbacks, and they start to come off the board in round 1 on Thursday night.
Yeah, a lot of times it's follow the leader. It kind of takes somebody to kind of prime the pump for the quarterbacks to start coming out of the draft. With that, I'm going to ask it, Bo. Matt Corral, did he make a mistake? Should he have returned to Ole Miss for another bang-up year and obliterate every passing record at Ole Miss?
No, I don't think he did, Brett. Listen, these guys, I texted you a while back privately, and I said, I would not be shocked if Malik Willis even slipped out of the first round. And then I was going to text you again when I saw Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock draft where he had Malik Willis not going in the first round. So, these quarterbacks all have some issues. And Matt Corral, I don't think did he help himself? Did he skyrocket his value? No. But in terms of these quarterbacks, I still think they're so tightly knit. It is really a preference. If you want a guy who's a dual threat, you're not looking at Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's more your Daniel Jones, Andrew Luck type guy. He can move, but he's not on the level of like a Corral or a Sam Howell, where these guys are so great at moving the ball. Malik Willis, these guys are dynamic with the ball on the ground or in the air. I think these guys are going to, I think when we get to that last 6 picks on Thursday night, I think you're going to see a lot of action. Like the Lions, they pick 32nd and they pick 34th. So they're right at the top of the second round. The Lions go again. If they want to pick up a 5th-year option on a Matt Corral, they'll be smart to take a guy like that at the end of the first round, because if they take him in round 2, they miss that opportunity. And if this kid pans out like they'd want him to, then you'd want that 5th-year opportunity to kind of, hey, we're going to keep you around. If they elect to wait till Friday night and take him, then you miss out on that. So I think the end of that first round, those last 6 picks, I think that's going to be a really fun time because I still think I think most of those quarterbacks, I think we might have one off the board by then, at least the way I think right now. And then you're still going to have, you're going to have, however you want to list them. Matt Corral, you're going to have Malik Willis, you're going to have Pickett. Sam Howell, I don't think he's going to be a first-round guy. You're going to have Desmond Ridder. I still don't think he's going to be a first-round guy. But nonetheless, we don't know how teams think. And there's always surprises. Jordan Love, look no further in bizarre picks that you never thought would happen, and lo and behold, they come to fruition on draft night.
Who do you think at this moment? I don't think we've really fully narrowed it down. I think we're going to look at an offensive tackle or possibly a defensive end. Who do you think is going to be the number 1 overall pick to the Jags?
You know what? I've been hard on the idea that Aiden Hutchinson is the number one guy from day one, and I've been, and I think the moves that Jacksonville has made, I think it benefits them. They franchise Cam Robinson. I think if you pair him up opposite of Josh Allen, you got a couple nice bookends. And sack-wise, I know they were one of the worst teams in terms of getting to the quarterback last year. So I know they want to surround Trevor Lawrence with protective pieces, but I don't think it's not much of a concern if you can't keep the opposing team off
That's
the
right.
field.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sometimes you protect your quarterback by getting him the ball back.
Yeah, and like I said, they were really one of the worst teams, and I think that goes in the same direction where the Lions are. Right? The Lions were dreadful. A lot of these teams right off the top of the bat in terms of their defense and sacks, they were just horrendous. I know I got some notes in my own mock draft. I think Robert Quinn and T.J. Watt, I think they combined for like 41 sacks, and it was like 9 less than the Lions or something. It was some crazy statistic that you think two individual guys basically had more or darn close to as many sacks as Jacksonville had as a team. So I just think that shows you how bad their pass rush was.
Mm-hmm. Theoretically, for the first 3 picks, we could have a run on D linemen, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. I just think it's preference of these teams in terms of what they've done in free agency. That kind of shows you a little bit where they may go. To me, Hutchinson has been that A1 guy.
Yeah.
Thibodeau from Oregon, he's been that guy as well. I think these guys, we know Dan Campbell. I'm sure he's eager to get a magnificent defensive piece to add to that Lions defense. And I know it doesn't, hey, I'm a D coordinator guy, and I'm defensive minded. This is what I want. Oftentimes, it doesn't actually go that way, but I'm sure he would be smitten, if you will, if he could have Kayvon Thibodeau, in a Lions uniform, going into Friday night of the draft, having round 1 in the book, and having a guy as his caliber. You got Walker, out as well. The Georgia kid, I think I don't know if he'll go that high, but I think he could be a guy that could be in that top 10.
He rose with that combine performance. He rose astronomically. I mean, he went. I saw him in the 20s and some early second round before the combine, and now he's probably. I mean, a lot of people have him top 10.
Yeah. I'm a weirdo. I'm a nerd when it comes to all this stuff, but usually I'd say almost every 3 months from like September and then November I'll go to almost all the top sites, and I'll write down each one in comparison with the next, and I just kind of keep track as we go through the season. And it is fun. Boye Mafe, the Minnesota edge kid, fantastic Senior Bowl, really had a great combine. And this was a kid that was basically a third-round guy. Now you see him on the fringes of the first round. It just shows you, as we kind of say, it's the path to the draft. And once you have a great collegiate season, and if you get invited to the All-Star games and you perform well, you go to the combine and you knock it out, or your pro day.
Right.
I had a kid on today, Elijah Hamilton, safety, 6'2", 210. I should say defensive back. His pro day at Vanderbilt, he put up numbers. Basically, all his combine numbers were incomparable to all the guys within the top 5 at the combine. So, I mean, that type of day, you're 6'2", 210, running a 4.4, you're a corner, you're going to turn.
Got to get some attention.
Yeah. Who do you think has had the best offseason so far as free agent signings and everything else?
I like what Miami's done. With the addition of Tyreek Hill, and the day before they had Teron Armstead, a big sign for the offensive line. So they're adding all the pieces they can for Tua Tagovailoa to be an impact guy. Chase Edmonds, I think he's an underrated running back. I think Miami's done a terrific job. All the teams in the AFC West, absent of the Chiefs, they're kind of losing.
They do have picks, though. They have picks, though.
Yeah.
And they got Andy Reid.
Yeah, they got Andy Reid. You know what it is? I'm always a guy that I rather have the proven product.
Me too.
That's
agree.
how I feel. And I think Oakland. I think Las Vegas. I mean, Chandler Jones and then Devontae Adams. They brought in a lot of nice pieces as well. So I think the Raiders have done themselves a lot of good. And we know, the Khalil Mack addition. Think Bosa and Mack off the edges for the Chargers. So Los Angeles is. I thought the whole AFC West, absent of the Chiefs, are magnificent. That said, I think if we all had to bet our lives, we might say, hey, you know what, you got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, you got the other coaches and the quarterback. We're all probably going to say, hey, we'll take Reid and Mahomes. But, hey, the games need to be played.
Mm-hmm. And also the Chargers, J.C. Jackson. And I'm hearing, and I again, this is not confirmed, I'm hearing it might not be done for the Chargers. I'm hearing they have another guy that they might bring in as far as defensive backs are concerned.
Yeah, that would be a nice addition. And, you know, in that comp, or that division, I should say, you know, think about the firepower that, you know, they've all added.
Well, it has it, but it also has this. Let the Chargers get off to a good start. And the first time the coach has one of those zany finishes, people are really going to – I think the next time he just throws a game away, people are really going to start to howl, and ones that haven't noticed it will start to notice it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that is everybody's reluctancy that if Staley's going to be able to kind of get out of his own way and do a better job of coaching. The season started last year. He looked like the next hot commodity of great young. I mean, I was like, wow, this guy is on his way. And by week 5, you just kind of saw it unravel. Yeah, and then by week 10, you're like, is this guy even going to last a year? So I hate to say hot seat, but with all the ammunition that team has and the question marks that we just discussed in terms of his decision-making, I have to believe that he is on the hot seat. If he's not, if the Chargers aren't in the playoffs, and I don't even think, like, getting by, you know, maybe squeaking in, like, if
kicking
they're not
the door in.
If they're not a powerhouse coming through that playoffs, then I think you'd be saying, you know what, we don't know if this guy's going to last. But
because, Bo, you're also going to have this angle to the story that is accurate. Why couldn't you be patient with Anthony Lynn like this? You had no patience for him, but you do for Gadfly?
Yeah, and Lynn, you know, and it's what you're exactly right. And the aggravating losses that Lynn had, and you know, that team is so close, you know. But I guess it goes back to, I always kind of think of the Buccaneers when Dungy was there. They couldn't get over the hump. Gruden comes in, and they finally get over the hump. Okay, what if they won if Dungy was there that year? I do not know. But all we know is Dungy couldn't get it done there. Basically the same team. Gruden comes, and they get a little bit farther. They end up hoisting that trophy over the Raiders, and, you know, they win the Super Bowl. So, sometimes you got to make a change. I loved Anthony Lynn. I hope he gets another shot. There's so many coaches out there I'd like to see get another shot. But at the end of the day, look at Josh McDaniels. I mean, you know, debacle in Denver, doesn't even show up for the
Took
job.
a while.
And now he's, you know, in Las Vegas. So, you know, I think he's another guy where if the Raiders don't start out hot, you could see another guy like, you know what, just go back on track record now. You know, it's kind of like, okay, you know, maybe we went too far with this, because we've seen this. I think the leash has never been shorter on all coaches. I mean, it's a carousel, and we know if you're not getting it done, they will not hesitate to pay you money while you sit at home or pay you money while you take another job. They'll get somebody in there that they think is competent.
He is Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com. We always bring him on at 5 o'clock every Tuesday to talk some NFL. Bo, appreciate it. By the way, real quick, before you leave, I have a GoFundMe page started right now. If you saw the picture of all the coaches at the coaches meeting, I have a GoFundMe started for Matt Rule. We're going to update his repertoire. We're going to get him some new clothes.
Needs a little help.
If you want to donate, go to GoFundMe.com. I'll have it set up for you. Appreciate it,
Hey, real quick, I'll send you a picture. My buddy looks identical. They could be twins. I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Bo.
Right, Bo.
Later, Jeff.
Appreciate it. We talk NFL with Bo Marchant every week. Also today, speaking of Josh McDaniels and the organization he came from, how about Bob Kraft whining about poor Patriots never win anything? Need to get back in the playoffs.
No win. Come on.
They won everything you can think of over the whole 21st century, and they're whining about being out of the playoffs. No whining at Jason's Deli, guaranteed good all the time. Whether it's dining in, to go, or delivery, they have you covered. And I talked last Friday about being back in there and it being back. You feel the restaurant alive again, and they had to be able to be adaptable, and they were with all the takeout, but they were ready for that because they're always ready for takeout. No order too large, whether it's 5 or 5,000. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli, and you go down that menu and all that great food, all the meats, cheeses, breads, spreads, all the salads, all the sandwiches like the Reuben, the beef eater, also good, the corned beef. I hear so many rave reviews about that. I'm not the biggest corned beef eater, but everybody tells me it's the best corned beef sandwich in town at Jason's Deli. At any of these locations, like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And if you're in any of those locations, you can wrap it up with the complimentary ice cream. Again, the catering, no order too large. I love the Club Royale. It's always good. And the most inappropriately named thing on the menu is the Plain Jane. It is anything but that. It is the giant baked potato with hot cheese and so good, sour cream, bacon, butter, chopped green onions. They call it Plain Jane, but it's nothing plain about it. It's also good at Jason's Deli. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Bob Kraft complaining about not winning a playoff game.
That's rich, isn't
He's
it?
getting stressed. We don't need him stressed, Brett. He got in trouble last time he was stressed.
Almost referred to Bill Belichick. We got a good coach as an inanimate object, didn't he?
Oh,
gosh.
gosh.
We got a good coach, similar to Matt LaFleur.
We don't need Bob Kraft stressed. We don't need Bob Kraft stressed. Not even a single laugh.
They've been a good team, Kraft and Belichick.
Not even a single laugh from y'all. Not even understanding my joke. Not even catching the punchline. Brian's
still
over there
trying to-
looking at me crazy.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out what coaches weren't in this picture.
Do we have it up?
No.
Okay.
That picture without the
down
four
to like
coaches
7.
did not have a happy ending. Did you see my joke?
Oh, singer, Brett. You know what? We're going to figure out, though.
I'll be here all week. Try the veal.
We're going to see who was left out of it. By the end of the show, it might be what I learned today who was left out of this picture, though.
Well, then you have to come take it over because I'm 2 seconds away from crumbling this up and throwing it into the trash can.
It can't be that stressful,
It's
right?
stressful. Well, it's not stressful. It's not a great quality picture. All these guys are standing behind people and everything.
I see one of Andy Reid's lenses, so you can barely see him. You don't know who else is stuck behind in the
Mike
back.
Vrabel in
Exactly.
it?
Mike
He's in it.
Vrabel's in it. That's clear. Yeah.
Do we know the new coach in New Orleans?
Yeah, Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
He is standing up in this picture, hands behind his back, standing up straight as possible. Great posture. Great
Proud to
posture.
be
What
there.
a posture.
Looks like a firstie.
We're going to go ahead and continue some NFL talk when we come back on the other side. Also, we're going to get to your texts at the end of the segment. I asked at the beginning of the show for the notice of allegations that has come down on the Memphis basketball program. Where's your vitriol? Where's your anger at? Penny, the NCAA, elsewhere, or is it nuanced? Let us know. We'll get to those texts at the end of the next segment right here on Sports 56 98.5.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, certified late model used cars, and cars under $10,000. At Sunrise, we specialize in low monthly payments and secondary financing. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. Schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars inspected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolfchase, and Collierville.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. That's Witten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
How do you make the most of your mow? Tony and Melissa do it on a John Deere Z530M Z-Track mower.
Jump out of the house, a cup of coffee, and I'm at work.
You're riding around, it's like going on a go-kart.
And for Rodney, he uses his John Deere X350 lawn tractor to turn his yard into
my happy place. It's a great place to do Tai Chi. I work on my mind, body, and well-being.
There are millions of ways to make the most of.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985, Sport, NU 06786, MSRP 25407, Outlander, NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
30 more minutes on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. Autos on listener line 901-360-8255. Get in those last second texts. We will read them at the end of the segment. The question was about Penny and the NCAA and the notice of allegations. Where is your anger aimed? At Penny or at the NCAA or at both? Is it a nuanced conversation? We'll get to those at the end of the segment. Now, we talked about the OT rule. It has changed. For the postseason, both teams will be able to possess the ball. Another thing that came out of this weekend with the coaches' meetings and everything else, Rooney Rule has now been expanded, and this one's interesting to me, Brett. I'm all for trying to make things better, but this is the terminology they used. Every team must hire one diverse person as an offensive assistant, and by diverse person they mean a woman or a minority. And they say it must be an offensive assistant because offensive assistants are a lot.
They get the jobs.
They get the jobs more often.
And this person has to have a direct connection with the quarterback.
And also,
but in that every position grouping,
they're paying for these offensive assistants out of a fund the NFL has created, and they're all going to be on 1-year contracts, and they're renewable and everything else. But Look, I am all for trying to push diversity and trying to get it going in the right direction. But I'm skeptical about all of these things. If they're going to work, if they're just going to try to find loopholes, you can't really find a loophole with this, so to speak. But it's just it's too little. It's not enough to really push diversity. I think it has.
Here's one of the odd quirks now. All the players are making so much money. Even that backup player that never experienced the kind of the highest of the highs and the biggest of the big money, they make so much money. Why do I want to go into this coaching racket? Used to that backup quarterback would be that guy that would kind of be more inclined to going to be a coach.
Mm-hmm. Their diversity will not change in the NFL with their hiring practices until the top changes, until ownership, front office, until there's more minorities, women,
and they win,
so to speak, in there. And yes, and then they have to win, and then it has to be successful. So,
and you got to be patient. And that's why I brought up the Anthony Lynn comparison with the Chargers. That will be a fair criticism.
Yes.
Look, Goofball does this, and he rolls right on, and Anthony Lynn couldn't.
I am all for moving everything forward, and I think this is a good thing. This is a positive thing, but it's just it's kind of arbitrary to say also they have to be just offensive. Why can't they be a defensive assistant?
And that language
how about one on each side of the ball?
How about one every position group?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that complicated.
And we're not talking about the NFL out there rattling a cup on money. We got plenty of – they can't spend it all. Mm-hmm. And again, the easiest thing on earth is to spend somebody else's money, but we know they have it, and they have set up this fund. But that language about it must be centered around the quarterback. Well, every offensive position group centered around the quarterback. Line's got to block, receivers got to catch, running backs have to blitz protect.
I found it way too damn specific, like way too specific. Why does it have to be an offensive assistant? Like it's just.
Yeah,
it's
a little too smart by half, a little bit. Yeah.
I wish we could all just do the right thing and hire diverse people that can get the job done.
Here's the big question
correctly.
I want answered from today. We know he played. We know Tiger Woods got up this morning, took the private King Air to Augusta National.
Right.
Got there, former champion, treated like a king, 5-time Masters champion. He didn't have to play with any member. He could go out there and play by himself, however slowly he wanted to. But we also know he played with Justin Thomas and with Charlie Woods, his son. What do you think Chuck Woods shot from the tips at Augusta National today?
Are we calling him Chuck? We can't call him Chuck. He's got to be over.
Team Chuck.
Come on. He's got to be at least legal drinking age before we call him Chuck. My gosh. Charles.
Go Team Chuck.
Charlie. I don't know what he shot, but he seems like he's well on his way to being a pro at some point in his career. I know that's so hard to ask. That's a lot to ask, though, of a kid his age.
But during the break, I said he's going to win the Masters someday to Bryant.
He did
That's
say
no
that,
pressure, is it? There's no pressure at all, is it?
You already have Brett.
Hey, Chuck Woods.
Knowing Brett, he probably has a futures on it already.
Probably.
He's got it on Chuck Woods, not Charlie, though.
Go out there and be your dad.
That's why
There's
he's
no
calling
pressure.
him Chuck.
Yeah, go out and be Tiger. You'll be all right. You'll
no
figure it out.
pressure at all there, is it?
And part of me hopes, and I would imagine Tiger has done it differently than Earl did. You would hope that Tiger would be able to train him differently and let him know what comes with being
everything.
Charlie Woods and being on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, because you want the little guy to have a good life more than anything else. If you never won a golf tournament again, have a good life, because the miracle of compounding interest is going to be really nice for him. I mean, he doesn't have to win the Greater Milwaukee Open to eat.
I think he'll be all right anyway. I think he'll be solid. I
think
he's pretty well taken care of. That's just a hunch.
How cool would it be? It'd be cool anytime to be a member there. But how cool would it be there today? And you kind of, who's the group kind of playing slow? And you look up and it's Tiger Woods.
You know what throws me off too? And I like golf. I'm not a huge follower of golf. For those that don't know, it throws me off that Scottie Scheffler's number one in the world right now. But he's won 3.
I don't know that I knew that.
He's number one in the world right now.
Yeah.
He's won 3 of his last 5 outings. So, I mean, you do what you do, but Scottie Scheffler at 1.
A week from tomorrow, we will do golf picks. Are you ready for a year of golf picks, Gabe?
I splattered you and Dave last year. I just splattered you guys.
I'm sorry, Gabe. We.
Oh, wow. How
well,
that?
Drew.
Yeah, where's my gosh?
Drew jumped in the team picture, didn't he? And
honestly,
he really did nothing.
You know what, Brett?
He was dead last when he left.
I think we're too far removed. You know what? I should have never brought this up. We're too far removed from it to keep bragging about it. Drew was here. Drew, we are too far removed. My God.
That is a pretty good latency period.
But I'm ready for picks. I'm ready for picks, Brett.
John Goen will be with us next week, and next week, first time we'll do picks, first major of the year, Augusta National. I can't wait. And to add to it, I'm talking about next Thursday, the potential my nirvana. Take me to the pearly gates now. You know, have you ever been to the U.S. Capitol, Gabe? Brian, have y'all ever been to the U.S. Capitol?
I have not. I have not.
Well, when you're standing in the middle of the U.S. Capitol and you look up at the rotunda and you see all the art and the very they say that is what they imagined George Washington, did him ascending to heaven. And you look at the pictures of it, and it's very ornate and very celebrated. It almost could be my Capitol Rotunda moment next Thursday. Tiger Woods in the morning, teeing off at Augusta National. That afternoon, Albert Pujols coming to bat for the Cardinals. And that night, old Brett at AutoZone Park for his first Redbirds game
Brett,
of the
I'm
year.
imagining during your evening meditation, you might float. You might float during your evening meditation.
Oh, next Thursday, it could be the crowning moment. Take me. I'm ready.
So you bring up the Capitol. Is that anything like the Venetian in Las Vegas? Anything close?
I haven't been there. I can't make a direct connection to the Capitol Rotunda and the Venetian in Vegas. No.
That place is bizarre, though. You've seen, you know it. You know the Venetian, their walking mall.
Yeah, I haven't been, but I've seen.
They got the gondolas in there and all that.
Quite elaborate.
Yeah,
very gaudy.
A little much. And the other thing last week I noticed they put you through the walking mall and they cover up all the good stores. You have to get like a request to go into the Fendi store and the Gucci store, which I would never.
What?
I'm not going into the Gucci store, but you can't just walk in.
Well,
they make you put.
I don't know how's that legal.
Yeah, they have the velvet ropes in front of just about every store.
You can't just walk up in the Louis Vuitton store?
No. Only one they had open when I was walking through.
We got to show your Black American Express card?
Maybe they just knew Gabe was coming to town.
Probably. I didn't put it in my request.
No.
They should have known. The only thing they had open was H&M.
Which you can go to Collierville and go to H&M. You can go down the street. There's H&M at the mall.
I'll say this: they have an elaborate H&M, a 3-floor H&M, if you can believe that. But also, I can't fit any H&M clothes. I'm a true double XL, maybe tall. You may have to put the T at the end of that.
Is that hard to find for you, Gabe?
In certain brands, no. But I mean, I know what brands carry it. H&M does not carry 2X.
That's too bad.
2X.
See, I'm getting every shirt and every pant. They're all going to be him because none of them. I'm too short.
They have the type of shirts you lift. If I lift my arms up, it'll be
crop top.
Yeah, they can't handle my midriff, man.
Well.
Yeah,
they can't handle it.
Yeah, that we don't need to see a whole lot of this area in here. No.
All right, to the texts. I asked at the beginning of the show about Penny Hardaway and the NCAA and the notice of allegations. Again, 7 allegations, 4 of them being level 1. Where do you place your blame? Where do you place your anger? Penny, the NCAA, elsewhere, or on everybody? Everybody involved. Have some texts in here. Somebody says Penny will just get a vacation for a year or two. In that period of time, he needs to concentrate on recruiting some players so the Tigers will have something to work with. He said, my gut feeling tells me the Tigers will get a 1-year postseason ban and lose a few scholarships. I do not blame Penny in the least bit. Okay. That's fair. The next person comes in. It's on Penny. He should have known the rules and followed them accordingly. Where he was coming from was not a. I
think even in your contract, it's language that you understand all the rules before you take the employment.
Part of that has to be a team around you who let you know these things, let you know what could potentially be a problem.
I think he was poorly served.
Yes, I think other people needed to help him out. I think part of me thinks he knew that the James Wiseman thing could come back. And I think there is sort of logs of him knowing that it could have come back to haunt him.
The James Wiseman thing at East High School, or the James Wiseman thing?
Well, once he was hired and then recruited James Wiseman to the University of Memphis, something tells me he knew about what could possibly happen.
Sometimes the player you lose turns out to be a great thing. What if James Wiseman signed with Kentucky? In the end, it might have been better for the Tigers.
Oh my gosh, Brett. I mean, what are we even worried about what we're talking about today?
But we wanted that win over Cal, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they got it briefly. Somebody else. The NCAA has always screwed us. I'll say this. I think in a lot of ways, and sort of proven over the years, the NCAA, and everybody knows this, they go after people that aren't necessarily blue bloods, and they tend
that
to
are
leave,
easy to make an example of.
They tend to leave those blue bloods alone for the most part. Now, the Kansas note of allegations is no slouch.
I think they have been over the top to the Tigers through the years.
I think they have. I think they've been vindictive toward the Tigers in a lot of ways.
But
part of that is leaving the door open. Don't give them a reason. Just don't give them a reason. And I know to keep up in a lot of ways in recruiting and everything else, you have to you have to do some of these things.
Now Gabe, this discontent that Tiger fans are going to and are voicing to us on the text line, I've been through it. You go through it, and at first you're not. I wasn't as mad at Hugh Freeze initially as I grew to being. because I knew, why even get in Leo Lewis's area code? Just stay away from him.
It's the open door. It really is the open door that the NCAA takes advantage of and then screws you with.
Our friend NIT Stu over at the Barking Crow, he put his input on the Penny Hardaway situation. This was his statement yesterday.
Statement? He released a
statement? Well, no, it wasn't a statement, but it was in his Stu's
manifesto.
So
be careful with that manifesto.
The little section is titled, "The NCAA is playing dirty." If you were trying to discourage the NIT's Final Four teams from winning the national championship this week, would you do it in any other way than leaking documents Saturday accusing last year's champion of numerous Level 1 violations? The answer, of course, is no. And whether you're a Penny Hardaway fan or not, if you're painting this development as anything but a brazen attack on the NIT, you're contributing to the occupation.
That is
way to go, Stu.
Stu, I'm impressed.
He's fantastic.
The mental gymnastics
He's
to relate
awesome.
that to the NIT. Woo, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
And we'll get to it in crunch time. How much of the NIT y'all watching tonight?
Oh, I got bets on it.
Of course you do. Somebody else. The NCAA and their arbitrary rulings are to blame. Okay. And here's the text that I think is very eloquent, very very well put. I sure wish the president's office and athletic department would have handled this differently. I think that's fair.
Agree.
I think that is fully fair. And that Penny Hardaway's involved in that conversation. Penny Hardaway's involved. But I think that's a fair statement. Somebody said the NCAA saw their opening and took advantage of Penny's mistake. Both are accountable for what's happening. That's fair as well.
Very. I don't think it's coincidental that everything released from the University of Memphis has been very flattering to David Rudd with him on the way out.
Mm-hmm. Before we get to our final break.
He orchestrated that.
Yeah, before we get to our final break, got to tell you about our wonderful people at Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue has been doing it for a long, long, long time, and they've been doing it well for so long. They have 4 different locations that you need to learn. Midtown, the one on Central, that's the OG, Central Barbecue. It's on Central, and they do everything well. Downtown by the Civil Rights Museum is a good one on Summer. And then I frequent the one, too, over on Poplar, actually the one closest to my house. But the one on Poplar is new. It's nice. They have an outdoor patio. It is beautiful. You have to stop by there. And I know there's a lot of options. We're talking about Memphis barbecue, but Central does it the best. It absolutely, unquestionably does it the best. I personally prefer, when I go there, I always start with the wings. I get them naked, or I get them with the dry spice. That's what I do, right? And I know wing prices are up, but these are worth your money. I'm telling you right now, go get the hot wings. They are fantastic. And then when I get to my big plate, when I get to my entree, I always go for the pulled shoulder, the pulled pork. I get the jumbo sandwich. I throw a little slaw on top, throw a little barbecue sauce on top. It's always great. And the sides, they got everything for you. They got mac and cheese. They got fries, onion rings, pork rinds, chips, slaw, greens, potato salad, green beans, barbecue beans. Just go and trust me on this. You're not going to regret it. Again, those locations. There is one in Midtown. That is the OG. That is the original right there in Midtown on Central. You have downtown by the Civil Rights Museum. You have Summer, and you also have one on Poplar. Stop by. Make sure you get to Central Barbecue. Smoke is their sauce. We'll be back with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Services is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point energy-saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go
crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye!
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that Overtime, we talk about Overtime Elite, right? Overtime Elite did the basketball thing. They take guys out of high school and they get them prepped for the pros. Overtime is now launching something for football. And they're partnering with free agent quarterback Cam Newton. Who else? Cam Newton has done really good with the 7-on-7s. He had his own thing going for a while. But Overtime is partnering with Cam Newton on a new 7-on-7 football league called OT7, designed to appeal to next-gen and college football fans. The league will launch in June. So good partnership there for Cam Newton, especially if he can't. We'll see if he can find a job, if he can lobby for a job.
It sounds like it. He feels like he's got maybe one more year left in him. I learned what Eric Musselman, that he really has it going at Arkansas. 3 very successful years on the floor. They're in the books. And now another big recruit to sign with them. They have their number 2 at Rivals right now, only behind John Shira and Duke. Yeah, that sounds funny to say John Shira's Duke's program, but that's what it'll be after the next Mike Krzyzewski loss or 2 more Mike Krzyzewski wins. 2 5-star, 3 4-stars in this class. The number 4 overall player, 19 overall, 27 overall, 76 overall, 128 overall. Musselman can sign them. He can get them to transfer, and most importantly, he can coach them on the floor.
Yeah, that's the main part. That's the main part that you want.
It's really the critical part.
You want that to get done. What I could have done without, it has to do with really John Camden entering the transfer portal and just the continued blowback from what we're seeing from this notice of allegations. I know there's a lot of Tiger fans out there stressed about it.
Slow drip.
But it will continue to be stressful until you have an answer on when the sanctions come. And for the NCAA, you don't know when the sanctions will come. You have no idea. So we're going to be monitoring this for the long haul.
I will not watch the NIT tonight. Y'all tell me all about it.
Will.
I think it's been meaningless for about 50 years. All eyes on Tiger Woods. Will he be there next week? He's got to commit this week, but he played there today. In baseball, about a week from opening day.
Brett, we've been doing this show for some months now, and I think the NIT right there. You're taking a hard stance on the NIT. That's the first time I've heard you go full get
hard
off
stance.
my lawn. I think.
Yeah,
that's
USFL as well. I won't watch it.
You're missing out, Brett.
I don't know.
I did it once in my life. I can't do it again.
That's all we have for today.
Fair point.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Kevin Sweeney, Brent Beard, and Beau Marchant for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Bryant, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night. Be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow at 3.
Oh, Jeff Allen, what's shaking over there at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah?
The walls are shaking because the deals are phenomenal on Mount Moriah. Check this out, Randy. You can take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX or a 2022 Kia LXS. We got it for $199 for a 36-month lease. 27